This page is the cover of the July 1992 issue of Beep! Mega Drive magazine, priced at 480 yen. The artwork features Sonic the Hedgehog giving a thumbs up in the foreground, with other stylized characters and abstract structures in the background, including a giant green M from the title. The cover highlights a special feature on Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, focusing on the driver's appeal during his European races. It also promotes a included supplement, a world guide for Lunar, the Silver Star. The magazine covers a range of Mega Drive and Mega CD titles. Featured Mega Drive games include Thunder Force IV, Royal Blood, King Colossus, Gleely Lancer, Splatterhouse 2, and Dyna Brothers. The Mega CD coverage includes Afterburner 2i, Detonator Organ, Burai, Merry-Go-Round, Rise of the Dragon, Thunderstorm, FX, Prince of Persia, and Wonder Dog. The cover gives a strong visual impression of the diverse content within. This page features a striking corporate image advert from Sega, showing Mont Saint-Michel at sunset and poetic text about distant time and space, along with the iconic Sega logo and a small Sonic sprite. This page features 2 upcoming games, highlighting the diverse offerings for Sega platforms. The top section focuses on Dark Wizard for the Mega CD, an emotional RPG, leveraging the Creedrum's large capacity. It boasts a multi-scenario system with 4 playable characters, 2 from the side of good and 2 from evil, each with their own dramatic story arcs. The game incorporates simulation elements and full animation visual scenes, promising a deep and immersive experience. Below that is King Colossus for the standard Mega Drive cartridge, presented as an action RPG. The story centers on a young protagonist with no memory of his name, marked by a mysterious crest on his hand. He battles in arenas to recover his past. The screenshots show a top-down action perspective. The game is listed with a release date of June 26th and a price of 5,800 yen. The bottom of the page includes advertisements for the Mega CD attachment and the Wonder Mega Integrated Console, showcasing Sega's hardware lineup. This page highlights an exciting title from Wolf Team, likely Final Zone Access for the Mega CD. A captivating grid of screenshots sits atop a stunning night view of a futuristic cityscape, featuring landmarks like the Twin Towers and the Statue of Liberty. The images showcase diverse scenes from the game, including high-tech control rooms, intense helicopter combat over city streets, lush jungle environments, and dramatic moments involving characters and explosions. The variety of settings and action depicted suggests a game with ambitious scope, blending different types of gameplay. The striking visuals and dynamic scenes convey the game's focus on thrilling action and adventure, characteristic of Wolf Team's development style from this era. The page serves as a visual showcase for the game's impressive graphics and varied content. This page showcases Thunderstorm FX, known internationally as Final Zone Access, a cutting-edge 3D virtual shooting game developed by Wolf Team and Data East for the Mega CD. Pushing the boundaries of the hardware, the game boasts impressive features for its time, including 3D binaural sound, over 10,000 graphics, and full animation sequences. Described as a non-stop experience using critical technology, players step into the role of a one-man peacekeeping force to resolve conflicts. The page includes small screenshots giving a glimpse of the game's virtual environments and intense action, along with striking imagery including a futuristic cityscape reminiscent of the previous page. It was scheduled for release in July 1992. This page showcases the vibrant cover art for the classic RPG, Lunar, the Silver Star. The central figure is the game's main heroine, Luna, depicted in a charming anime style with striking blue hair and an orange-patterned scarf and headpiece, smiling directly at the viewer. The background art is a montage featuring other characters and scenes from the game, including some appearing in smaller vignettes around a winding tree branch and what looks like a hot spring scene. The title, Lunar the Silver Star, is prominently displayed in large red letters at the bottom, with the Japanese title below it. The top left corner features the developer's logo, GameArts, and the bottom left includes credits for the illustration by Toshiyuki Kubuka and copyrights to GameArts/Studio Alex. This page delves further into Lunar, the Silver Star for the Mega CD. Following the cover art shown previously, it features a large, dynamic illustration with Luna, the game's heroine, prominently displayed, along with a character playing a harp, likely Galeon. On the right side, several screenshots showcase different aspects of the game, including character portraits during dialogue, the tactical battle system with character stats visible, and views of various towns and locations like Melibea and the port town of Sayeth. The dialogue snippets shown give a taste of the world's atmosphere and the early story progression, highlighting the welcoming nature of the towns and introducing key locations. The page reiterates that the game is a Mega CD exclusive from GameArts and provides release information, indicating it was coming soon at the time of publication. This page features a vibrant advertisement for GameArts' action-packed title, Elysia Dragoon, on the Mega Drive. The main illustration is striking, showcasing the heroine Elysia in a dynamic pose surrounded by powerful creatures, hinting at the game's fantasy setting and intense combat. The page emphasizes the game's quality, proudly stating it's a high-action shooting game born from GameArts technology and a professional team. This includes notable credits such as Gainax for story and visual supervision, Hiroyuki Hataike on character concepts, and details like the game using an 8 megabit room across 8 stages. They even list impressive stats like the number of animation patterns for Elysia and enemies, the total enemy types, and the number of music tracks and sound effects, highlighting the depth and detail poured into the game's presentation and gameplay. 4 screenshots are displayed, giving viewers a clear look at the side-scrolling action, platforming, and magical attacks Elysia utilizes against various monsters in diverse environments, from elevated structures to dark caves. The text confirms the game was already on sale at the standard price of 7,800 yen. It's clear from the presentation that GameArts was highlighting Elysia Dragoon as a technically impressive and visually rich entry in the Mega Drive's action game library. This page is a vibrant advertisement for Afterburner 2i on the Mega CD. It features a striking image of an F-14 Tomcat fighter jet flying through the sky, setting the scene for intense aerial combat. The large, bold title, Afterburner 2i, dominates the top of the page. The ad promotes the game as sky-splitting flying combat and announces its scheduled release for August at a price of 8,400 yen, excluding tax. It also highlights compatibility with the XE1AP analog joypad, suggesting enhanced control for the flight simulation experience. 2 smaller screenshots are included, one showing the game's title screen featuring a pilot, and the other an in-game view of a jet on a runway, hinting at the detailed visuals. The text emphasizes that this Mega CD release is an arranged and upgraded version of the classic 3D shooting game Afterburner. A brief mention of an FM Towns version release is also present, but not the main focus. This page showcases 3 upcoming titles from Sims, highlighting the developer's diverse range with releases for both Mega Drive and Mega CD. The top section presents Quiz 2 Shi Densetsu, a unique quiz game set in the Sengoku period coming to Mega CD. It blends quiz challenges with strategic elements, allowing players to expand their territory and aiming to unify the land through their knowledge. It promises voice output and is based on an arcade version, scheduled for an August '92 release. Next is Junkers High, a 3D racing game for the Mega Drive. Positioned as a confident new work by the team behind Outrun, it promises enhanced scrolling speed and significantly more course data compared to previous versions, boasting over 50 stages. Screenshots display the wireframe 3D graphics and racing action. It is also slated for an August '92 release. Finally, the page introduces Vey, Sims' first original RPG for the Mega CD, set to release in December '92. The game is described as a dramatic story centered around the ultimate weapon, Landmail, featuring character designs by Koji Iwai and visual animation by Yasukazu Ishii, aiming to create a groundbreaking fantasy world. This page is an advertisement for Vantan Computer Information College, an institution dedicated to training the next generation of game software super creators. Founded in 1991, the college focuses on teaching game design and programming, boasting powerful equipment for the era like the Macintosh 2 FX, FM Towns, and Iris Indigo, to cover various game categories including multimedia, CG, and virtual reality. They are hosting several events this summer across Japan for prospective students. These include computer creator seminars and guidance sessions in Osaka, offering insights into the industry and detailed school information. Guidance sessions are also scheduled for the Hokkaido/Sendai, Shizuoka, and Nagoya areas, providing opportunities for career consultation and answering questions about the programs. Additionally, the college is holding dedicated entrance consultation meetings for personalized discussions. If you're serious about turning your passion for games into a career, Vantan is presenting itself as a place to learn the skills needed to play, learn, and ultimately earn in the world of game development. You can reach them via their toll-free number at 012-003-4775 for inquiries, or to reserve a spot at one of their upcoming events. This page showcases Detonator Orgun, the anime series making its way to the Sega CD. The artwork features the protagonist, Tomoru, alongside a vibrant pink-haired character and the powerful Orgun mecha, set against a backdrop of futuristic conflict. The text introduces the premise. In the late 23rd century, humanity faces doom from alien invaders called Ivalud, until Tomoru is chosen by the mysterious Orgun armor to link and fight back. Highlighted features of the Sega CD game include its impressive full animation quality, touted as surpassing even OVA standards, and exclusive content like original story elements from the first 2 volumes, and unique characters. Beyond the game, the page also promotes the original Detonator Orgun video anime, soundtrack CDs, and novels, covering volumes 1 through 3, all currently available for purchase. The Sega CD version offers a chance to experience the Orgun saga with high-quality visuals and gameplay unique to the platform. This page features 2 upcoming titles from HOTB for the Sega CD. On the left, we see the continued coverage of Detonator Orgun, the anime adaptation heading to the platform. The artwork displays the familiar protagonist to Amoru, alongside the Mecha Orgun and another character, reinforcing its focus on the anime's distinct visual style. The text confirms its planned release for early July with a standard price. On the right, the page shifts gears entirely to introduce King Salmon, a fishing simulation game. Presented with photographs and game screenshots, the goal is clearly depicted. Catch a massive salmon, potentially a world record holder, as suggested by the prominent vertical Japanese text proclaiming, "Aim for the world record." The imagery shows a proud angler with a large fish, and details like a digital scale displaying a weight of 106 pounds. King Salmon is set for release shortly after Orgun, in mid-July. Both titles highlight Hot Sab's diverse publishing approach on the Sega CD. This page introduces the Mega CD title, Wonder Dog, a vibrant side-scrolling action game. The titular character, Wonder Dog, is prominently featured, depicted as a cheerful canine superhero giving a thumbs up. The main text explains the game's premise. Wonder Dog, originally the mascot of the Wonder Mega console, is actually a powerful hero from space who meets a boy named Billy and protects Earth's peace. The game is highlighted for its diverse character abilities, like running, jumping, digging, and even flying, alongside fun animated opening and ending sequences. It leverages the Mega Critic's capabilities for impressive graphics, with multi-layer backgrounds and visual tricks, while the CD audio provides a powerful soundtrack. The page showcases screenshots of the platforming action, and indicates a release is scheduled soon, though the price is yet to be determined. This looks like a promising platformer making full use of the Mega Critic's multimedia features. This page showcases the Sega Mega CD version of the classic action puzzle game, Prince of Persia. The striking artwork features the protagonist facing the palace, with the villain Jafar looming ominously above. The text highlights the core objective, a life-or-death battle to rescue the captured princess, involving navigating multi-layered labyrinths filled with enemies and mind-bending traps within the Persian palace. The article emphasizes the game's realistic and smooth character animation, a hallmark of the series, alongside the challenging action and puzzle elements that made the original a global success. This Mega CD iteration fully leverages the platform's capabilities, incorporating abundant animation for cutscenes and high-quality music, utilizing CD audio sources, promising an exquisite game balance and a level of quality unique to the Mega CD. Screenshots preview both the animated story sequences and the challenging platforming gameplay. The page indicates the game is coming soon, with the price yet to be announced. This looks like a premium presentation of a beloved classic, enhanced for the Mega CD hardware. The next page showcases the Sega Mega Drive title, Advanced Sorcerian. The striking artwork portrays a vibrant, mystical fantasy world featuring floating islands, a grand waterfall, and a large, glowing crystal formation at the center of a lush landscape. The scene is capped by dramatic, stormy mountains in the distance, conveying a sense of epic scale and impending conflict. The prominent text translates to, "The path left was to fight, that was the fate of the little witch," hinting at a key narrative focus on the protagonist's destiny. Screenshots include a prologue illustration introducing the protagonist, likely named Saria based on the accompanying text, and an in-game scene depicting dialogue within a fantasy setting, highlighting the game's role-playing elements and immersive atmosphere. Advanced Sorcerian is a classic fantasy RPG, known for its deep world and story. The next page introduces the fantasy shooting game Twinkle Tale, a debut title from the new brand was. The artwork features a charming witch protagonist, reminiscent of the fantasy themes explored on the previous page with Advanced Sorcerian. The page highlights the game's captivating beautiful graphics and immersive fantasy world. Screenshots showcase the top-down gameplay, featuring the main character fighting various monsters in different environments, like forests and dungeons. The text points out the simple controls, including switching between 3 weapon types with 1 button, and the variety of powerful magic spells available, like a screen-clearing Fire Dragon Strike and a piercing Light Bullet. The game was released on July 24th for 7,800 yen, excluding tax, by Toyo Recording. This page finally introduces the brutal futuristic sport of Speedball 2. The artwork dominates the left side, showcasing the game's intense action with armored players ready for battle, highlighting the game's cool violence action. The text describes the frantic gameplay, mentioning elements like powerful tackles, scoring goals, and the tough nature of the sport, where players can simply disappear. Speedball 2 was released on June 19th as a 4 Mega ROM title for 6,800 yen. Excluding tax. The page also features a brief note on the upcoming Mega CD title Afterburner 2i, promising realistic cockpit dogfights and a scheduled August release, with an FM Towns version also planned. This page introduces the new strategy simulation game, Dyna Brothers, developed by Crust. Supervised by Kayama Rika, this comical simulation puts players in control of various dinosaurs, including herbivores and carnivores, competing against others. The game emphasizes deep strategy, with dynamically changing maps and enemy attack patterns that adapt to the player's moves, offering a surprising and challenging experience perfect for simulation fans. Dyna Brothers is an 8 Mega Room title, set to release on July 24th, with a price of 8,800 yen. The page also includes a note about the well-received Galaxy Force 2, available for 8,400 yen. This page is a vibrant advertisement for Tengen's Mega Drive release of the classic arcade game, Paperboy. It showcases the fast-paced, non-stop action of delivering newspapers through challenging streets filled with obstacles and quirky neighbors. The page features dynamic artwork of the titular Paperboy on his bike, ready to toss papers, alongside gameplay screenshots depicting the distinctive isometric perspective and environments. The release date for the Mega Drive version is clearly stated as June 26th. Priced at 6,800 yen. Additionally, the page highlights other games from Tengen available on various platforms, including Mega Drive hits like Hard Drivin', Road Blasters, and the fighting game Pit Fighter, alongside Klax and Game Gear's magical puzzle popples, presenting them as part of Tengen's popular game lineup. This page introduces a new concept called Visual Conversation Software, or VCS, exclusive to the Sega Mega CD system. Developed by Data West, it's described as a new genre, like a second TV, that allows interaction with images and dialogue. The core technology is their Data West Active Picture System, DAPS, which enables interactive movies and digital comics, aiming to provide an experience distinct from traditional games. The page features Merry-Go-Round the 4th Unit series as an example of this technology, noting it contains approximately 2,500 animation frames and includes a DAPS replay function to watch the entire story continuously. A small screenshot shows 2 anime characters interacting. Data West positions DAPS as bringing amazing non-stop animation to the Mega CD, offering a deeply engaging experience. This page showcases Koei's fantasy simulation game, Royal Blood, for the Mega Drive. The artwork features a large, somewhat bewildered-looking furry monster and a mysterious robed wizard, set against a backdrop of a grand castle. The text describes the game's setting in Ishumeria, a land where humans and monsters coexist, and tells the tale of young nobles rising to overthrow the evil King Ethelred to bring peace and rescue a captured princess, with the key being the legendary Royal Blood crown. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, including strategic map views, character status screens showing portraits and stats, and tactical battle sequences where units engage on a grid. The page highlights that this engaging fantasy experience, lauded as an imagination game, is now available on the Mega Drive. It lists the Mega Drive version price at 9,800 yen, alongside prices for other platforms like Famicom per % and CD versions. This page features a striking illustration for the game Denjin Ashura, Nobunaga, and his ninja force. The dynamic artwork depicts giant mechs in a battle scene under a crescent moon, blending feudal Japanese ninja themes with futuristic robotic combat. In the foreground, a powerful, dark mech stands amidst flames, while a ninja character is suspended from above. Flanking the central scene are other imposing mechs. The image prominently displays the game title in large, stylized Japanese text, alongside the English subtitle and logos for both Mega CD and Mega Drive, indicating its release on both platforms. The page announces the game is scheduled for release in summer 1992 and is developed by Compile. It captures the intense, action-packed nature suggested by the title and visuals. This page features an advertisement for the game Grand Slam, known in Japan as the Tennis Tournament 92, for the Mega Drive. The artwork shows a triumphant male tennis player celebrating a victory, raising his racket towards the sky against a backdrop of a court and a crowd. The main headline suggests achieving the pinnacle of the sport after a hard-fought battle. The ad highlights various game modes, including a player mode for creating custom players and using passwords, a practice mode for skill improvement, a versus mode offering 7 combinations of singles and doubles matches, and a tournament mode allowing participation in the 4 major Grand Slam events: Wimbledon, US Open, French Open, and Australian Open. The game is scheduled for release on June 12, Friday, is a 4 mega cartridge and priced at 6,800 yen. It is published by Nihon Telenet. This page presents a vibrant, illustrated advertisement for a massive computer game specialty store called Lecoq's The Computer Game Can. The artwork depicts a futuristic building showcasing various game worlds and genres, framed by dynamic mechs. The central text proclaims this is a giant computer game empire moving forward, highlighting the concept of a single building entirely dedicated to games, a remarkable feat for the time. The store boasts a huge collection of game software from around the world, spanning a wide range of platforms. A detailed floor guide breaks down the offerings. The lower floors feature consoles like the Famicom, Super Famicom, Mega Drive, and PC Engine, along with game merchandise, music, strategy guides, and video software. The upper floors cater to numerous Japanese and international home computers, including MSX, X68000, FM Towns, PC 9801, PC 8801, IBM, Macintosh, and Amiga, stocking both hardware and software for these systems. The store is located in Akihabara, Tokyo. This page is an advertisement or information page showcasing SoftBank's magazine lineup, primarily highlighting PC, a magazine dedicated to the NECPC 9801 series, described as the Bible for 4,000,000% users. It aims to convey the latest practical information in an easy-to-understand way, using many visuals. The magazine covers various main categories for PC 9801 use, minimizing technical jargon and employing effective illustrations. It features sections like in-depth special features, a test room for hardware reviews helping users choose based on purpose, and includes an experience disc, 5.2 HD, allowing readers to try out content. PC is published monthly on the 1st and 15th for 560 yen. The page also lists other regular publications from SoftBank. These include magazines focused on technology like language and Windows environments, business computing magazines covering LAN and PC and WS usage, and magazines categorized by hardware or for beginners covering general PC topics, X/MZ series, FM Towns, Dynabook series, and Door vs. PCs. Of particular interest are the game magazines listed: a Super Famicom specialty magazine released bi-weekly on Fridays, and a Mega Drive specialty magazine, likely BeepMD, released monthly on the 8th. This page serves as the table of contents, previewing the exciting features within this issue. The highlights include the New Work Scramble section, diving into the latest releases like Glock, Air Battle, Chase HQ, Side Pocket, Gods, and the platformer Chernov. The B Mega Hot menu focuses on major Mega Drive titles such as the classic vertical shooter Thunder Force IV, the strategic RPG King Colossus, the brilliant shooter Glee Lancer, Splatterhouse 2, and the top-down adventure Twinkletail. A significant feature is dedicated to Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, a highly anticipated racing simulation. The Mega CD Press section introduces new titles for the CD add-on, featuring games like Glock, Air Battle, the RPG Might, and Magic 2i. Isles of Terra, Rise of the Dragon, Prince of Persia, Wonder Dog, the strategy RPG Dark Wizard, Robo Alesti, and the Adventure Vey. The page is rounded out with previews of regular columns covering BeepMD news, new video games, Genesis information, racing, reader interaction, communication from developers like Sims and Falcom, a column on the TV game industry, and dedicated sections for Game Gear and historical analysis of video games. Visuals include art from Lunar, the Silver Star, and a screenshot from Thunder Force IV. This month's shop data analyzes sales trends for Mega Drive and Game Gear software. On the Mega Drive, Magical Tulutokun, developed by Game Freak, surprisingly tops the charts. Praised for its fun gameplay and broad appeal, Shining Force secures second place, celebrated for its depth and playable characters. Alicia Dragoon rounds out the top 3, with its fast-paced action proving popular. Other top sellers include Turbo Outrun, Battlemania, Pro Wrestling Retsuden, and Sonic the Hedgehog. On the Game Gear, the top 5 is led by the original Sonic the Hedgehog, with a sequel planned. Other popular titles include Wonder Boy, Alien Syndrome, Phantasy Star Adventure, and Gear Stadium. The magazine highlights the impending release of new major titles. This page features a breakdown of what Mega Drive users are hoping to see ported to the system, alongside a look at popular video games currently selling in shops. The user data section, compiling reader requests, shows Street Fighter II is overwhelmingly the most desired port, highlighting its massive cross-platform appeal. The list of requested games is quite diverse, including popular RPG series like Record of Lodoss War, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, YS, and Wizardry, simulations like Princess Maker and SimCity, and various action and arcade titles. The magazine notes that the number of desired ports is increasing, with new announcements arriving, including one from Bandai. The shop data section, reflecting store popularity, also has Street Fighter II at number 1, confirming its current dominance and the growing trend of fighting games. Other popular games in shops include Firming 1 Exhaust Note, Super World Stadium, Soccer Brawl, and Quiz Chikyu Buigun. The page also celebrates the arrival or upcoming release of Taito Chase HQ2, the 3D shooter Night Striker, and Koei's naval simulation, Naval Ops, Warship Commander. The User Data Top 20 ranks the most anticipated new games based on reader surveys, reflecting excitement for upcoming releases on the Mega Drive. Lunar, the Silver Star for Sega CD, leads the list with 188 points, lauded for its deep RPG experience and a release set for June 26. Thunder Force IV, a shooting game, secures second place with 70 points, promising a grander scale and impressive presentation. Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2 from Sega takes third, promising realistic speed and elevation changes. Seima Densetsu, 3x3 Eyes, a Sega CD RPG based on a manga, and Robo Aleste, a compile shooting game, round out the top 5. The remaining games on the list, compiled from a May issue survey, cover a variety of genres, offering a diverse lineup of anticipated titles for Mega Drive fans. This page presents the new soft schedule, offering a look at upcoming releases for both the Mega Drive and Game Gear systems. It's packed with details on titles, anticipated release dates, prices, and technical specs. For the Mega Drive, we see some highly anticipated games from the previous page appearing with potential release dates, such as Thunder Force IV, Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, and Lunar, the Silver Star for the Sega CD. The list covers a wide spectrum of genres, from action powerhouses like Prince of Persia and Gods, to RPGs and simulations. It's a solid lineup showing the continued strength of the platform. The Game Gear section also lists its upcoming games, including familiar names like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Batman Returns, and Bonanza Bros., promising portable fun across different genres. A small editorial box highlights some checks on previously discussed games, noting the ongoing anticipation for the Patlabor game, and mentioning that the latest entry in the beloved Shining series is also on the horizon. The page features screenshots of RB.II Baseball 4 and Gauntlet, giving a visual taste of the upcoming action. This page is the Soft Maker information board, featuring updates directly from various developers. Sega is set to release 2 Hungus King Colossus and a Game Gear title, plus promoting Super Monaco GP2 with TV ads. Hotbee is launching the Mega CD version of Detonator Organ, emphasizing its detailed voice acting. Atomic Spirits highlights their serious simulation, Teitoku no Ketsudan. Victor warns that Prince of Persia demands focus and had some content adjusted. Wolf Team mentions new games and the Mega CD title Thunderstorm FX. Riot provides an update on Silky Rip and mentions upcoming games like Galaxy Express 999 and Cyborg 009. Data East discusses their Mega CD title Merry-Go-Round utilizing their DAP system and confirms the Mega Drive port of Chernobyl is faithful to the arcade. Compiler is teasing their 10th anniversary project, possibly Denjin Aleste. Messiah is pushing their hardcore shooter Glaylancer. Palsoft is ready to release the soccer spin-off of Super Dodgeball. Finally, PCM Complete announces delays for the Mega CD versions of Gods and Xenon 2. It's a comprehensive look at what's coming soon from these publishers. This page introduces the BeepMD Race section, a unique review format where new Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear software are evaluated by different contributors. The final rating, called odds, is calculated from the average scores of 4 judges, visualized on a dog gauge. Personal thoughts and updates from contributors like Aoyama Yuko, Alex Koji, Chaojin Barom, and Jam Oji-san are also featured, touching on diverse topics from academia and game music to personal observations about the industry. The page highlights 2 key releases. First is Top Players Golf, published by Soft Vision, described as their debut title. It's a golf tournament game featuring stroke and match play, with selectable players on a resort island, noted as enjoyable and accessible. Screenshots show the game's interface and graphics. The second featured game is Speedball 2, ported by CSK Soken. This futuristic American football/handball hybrid, originally a famous overseas computer game by the Bitmap brothers, is highlighted for its dynamic and simple gameplay, especially suited for 2-player versus matches. Multiple reviewers share their perspectives on Speedball 2, commenting on its unique graphics and techno music, but also noting limitations in controls and field design, leading to a range of individual review scores. The section effectively provides varied viewpoints on these new titles. This page continues the BeepMD Race feature, reviewing 4 upcoming releases. First up is Royal Blood, a fantasy simulation game from Koei. It introduces fantasy elements into Koei's typical simulation style, focusing on ruling territories across 4 scenarios with unique lords. Reviewers note it retains Koei's strong simulation elements, but has some criticisms regarding the battle system and advisor utility, resulting in an average odds of 6.25. Next is Paperboy, Tengen's port of the classic Atari action game. This unique concept of delivering newspapers while avoiding obstacles receives generally positive feedback for its original idea, though some reviewers find the bike controls tricky and the difficulty high. It earns an average odds of 6.75. Following that is King Colossus, an action RPG from Sega. Featuring character designs by Makoto Ojino, the game is described as a simple action RPG focused on fighting enemies and leveling up. Reviewers appreciate its straightforward approach and find it enjoyable despite a perceived lack of depth in areas like mapping. It scores an average odds of 7.0. Finally, Detonator Organ is presented as a Crodrom adventure game from Hot B, based on the popular video anime. The game is praised for capturing the essence of the anime's story and style, with reviewers highlighting its dramatic elements. However, the adventure game mechanics themselves are seen as somewhat basic or dated, leading to a mixed but slightly positive reception, and an average odds of 7.0. This page continues the BeepMD Race feature, reviewing 2 more games. First is Lunar, the Silver Star, a fantasy romance RPG for the Mega CD. Reviewers were impressed to see a proper RPG finally utilize the Mega CD's features like animation and music so well, noting the core RPG mechanics are solid, and the battle music is particularly outstanding. Despite high expectations, it is considered a solid game that takes good elements from others, with good visuals and overall atmosphere. It received an average score of 8.0. Next is Wonder Dog, an action game for the Mega CD featuring a mascot-like character. Compared unfavorably to games like Sonic, reviewers found the controls a bit awkward and the sense of exhilaration lacking. Difficult jumps and repetitive level design were points of criticism, and the graphics and character design were not particularly impressive. It received a lower average score of 5.0. The editor's commentary on the right highlights Lunar as a strong recommendation for Mega CD owners, praising it as a good 2D RPG with a nice atmosphere. Other games mentioned as noteworthy this month include Paperboy, Speedball 2, and King Colossus, among others, suggesting it was a month with several interesting releases across different genres. This page continues the B-Mega Reader Race, a feature where readers re-evaluate MegaDrive and Mega CD software, and their average scores are published. A large table lists the current reader rankings and scores for numerous games. Highlighted games on this page include Steel Empire, a side-scrolling shooter which readers praised for its production values and atmosphere, though some found boss battles repetitive. ToeJam and Earl, the funky co-op adventure, is noted for its unique feel and multiplayer fun, despite comments on large map sizes. The arcade port Pit Fighter is reviewed, with opinions on its realistic characters and moves, but also critique on its depth. Art Alive, a drawing and animation tool, is discussed, with reviewers finding it limited by its color palette and lack of a save function, suggesting it's better with a mouse accessory. Finally, Mystic Defender, an action game based on the Peacock King manga, is featured, described as focusing heavily on action over adventure and having decent presentation. Commentary on the rankings notes Shining Force holding the top spot, and other games like Sonic shifting positions. This page continues the B-Mega Reader Race, showcasing reader evaluations and rankings for Mega Drive and Mega CD titles. The main feature is a large table listing games ranked by average reader score. Several games are highlighted with more detailed reader comments. Under the Potential Dark Horse section, Valis is reviewed. Readers found the difficulty lower but were annoyed by enemy movements and missed visual scenes compared to previous entries. Wani Wani World's simple controls were liked, but poor balance due to fast enemies and an unskippable intro were points of criticism. Thunder Pro Wrestling Retsuden was seen as a decent wrestling game for the console, though it lacked the depth and roster size of versions on other systems. Cosmic Fantasy Stories was praised for visuals and story, but suffered from late game balance issues. The Losing Ticket section features games that didn't fare well with readers. Minato no Trahia was heavily criticized for its controls, battle system, bugs, and lack of impact. Turbo Outrun was largely seen as a disappointment compared to the original Outrun, with readers finding the graphics and playfeel inferior despite improved speed. Finally, a small section shares brief reader comments on various other games, including Double Dragon 2, Shining Force, and Turbo Outrun. This page continues the reader race rankings, showing games ranked 98 through 144 based on reader votes. But the main focus shifts to a detailed look at Robo Aleste. Written by Yoichi Shibuya, known for his energetic style, the review kicks off with his personal take, highlighting his preference for destructive games like shooters over constructive ones, which he finds tedious. He praises the intense, quick bursts of excitement you get from shooters, comparing the feeling to an adrenaline rush. Shibuya reviews Robo Aleste itself, noting it offers enjoyment and the intense feeling he likes, but points out significant flaws, particularly the poor screen visibility, which makes it hard to distinguish between your ship and enemy projectiles due to cluttered backgrounds and distracting character designs. He criticizes the game's visual style, finding it jarring and not particularly polished. A separate reader review also comments on Robo Aleste, praising the impressive opening sequence and intense visuals, especially a falling stage scene, and considers it a well-made game, aside from the packaging art. Readers mention enjoying the fast-paced shooting action and considering it a playable game. The page also includes data on reader voting distribution for Robo Aleste, and brief concluding remarks tied to the racing/betting theme of the section. This page features a major collaborative project comparing the PC Engine and Mega Drive based on reader votes, asking, which is it? There are tables showing the top-ranked games for both systems, highlighting the PC Engine's strength in RPGs, particularly on Xydrom titles like Tengai Makyo 2 and YSIN 2. The analysis notes that while the PC Engine has a dominant RPG presence, the Mega Drive holds its own, especially in genres like simulation, and points out that card-based games are still popular on the PC Engine despite the CD medium. The reader participation sections are prominent, inviting predictions on the ranking of Magical Taruto-kun in the Mega Drive race and the average score of Elysia Dragoon for a double chance prize. They are also recruiting new participants for the Mega Drive reader race, offering a Genesis copy of the excellent driving sim Test Drive 2 as a prize, asking for reviews of games players have tried. The Mega Drive reader race rankings continue down the page, showing average scores for games from rank 145 to 193. The editorial summary reflects on the shifting reader tastes, noting the slight decline in popularity for Sonic the Hedgehog compared to recent months. This page covers several interesting developments in the Japanese gaming scene. Headlining the news is coverage of the International Sports Fair, where Sega had a major presence. They showcased an impressive setup of 6 networked F1 simulators running Super Monaco GP2, offering attendees a highly realistic racing experience, even featuring a motion rig using a real car body. Also featured at the Sega booth was Lunar, hinting at its upcoming release on the Mega CD. Images show the intense F1 racing setup and attendees playing the games. Another big announcement comes from Wolf Team, who unveiled their new project, D1 Devastator, for the Mega CD. This is an SF action title set in a near-future Tokyo, described as a multimedia project with plans for an original video animation, OVA, CD album, and merchandise alongside the game. The page features a dynamic key visual showing the main characters and mechs, as well as photos from the press conference introducing the project, including the singer and voice cast. Finally, there's news about Hudson Soft's hardware development. They've developed a new 32-bit custom semiconductor chip series called HUIX62. This development sparks speculation about a potential new game machine from Hudson, especially one that could utilize Crydrom technology, suggesting significantly improved performance over existing hardware. It's something to definitely look forward to. This page features several key updates from the gaming and related industries. Kicking things off is a Wonder Mega event held in Ginza, described as a user gathering akin to a university club orientation. Attendees enjoyed karaoke, quizzes, and gaming on the Wonder Mega system. Sega also teamed up with comedy powerhouse Yoshimoto Kogyo for a video project titled Gekitu Baka, which was jointly produced and released. The page also highlights the Enix Academy, a new school dedicated to game creation. It covers a special lecture given by the Enix president, discussing the curriculum which covers game development fundamentals. While Enix is known for Dragon Quest, the school's focus is broader, even featuring lectures on titles like the Shining Force series. Photos show the president speaking and students listening intently. Further news includes coverage of a wired broadcast service called Dragon TV Game Information that provides gaming updates, requiring specific equipment to receive. There's also mention of Human's Dial Q2 phone service, expanding its offerings, with 5 new titles featuring popular voice actors. Lastly, the page showcases new game music releases. This includes CRUDs for Taito arcade hits like Galactic Storm and Warrior Blade, the SNK fighting game Fatal Fury Last Resort, Data East's action RPG Wizardfire, known as Dark Seal 2 in Japan, and the beloved simulation game Princess Maker, alongside others. This page dives into some new arcade and home console releases, starting with Namco's latest video games. Highlighted is Cosmo Gangs the Video, described as a game with a retro feel, reminiscent of classics like Galaga and Galaxian, but updated with a story and charming characters. The game is presented as accessible and enjoyable for everyone, featuring cute visuals and engaging gameplay shown in screenshots. The page also features an update on the Neo Geo, specifically covering King of the Monsters 2. This sequel to the giant monster fighting game brings worldwide stages and introduces new opponents, including aliens. The fighting system has been updated, offering exciting battles depicted in accompanying screenshots. Additionally, there's a note that options like RGB and RF cables are available for the Neo Geo, allowing players to experience the games with better video quality on their televisions. This page focuses on Electronic Arts' latest Genesis releases. It highlights Desert Strike: Return to the Gulf, described as a blend of combat simulation and shooting game viewed from an isometric perspective. While it involves piloting a helicopter, the controls are presented as more accessible than a full flight simulator, focusing on movement and firing. Key gameplay elements involve using the radar to locate targets, rescuing downed pilots and soldiers, and destroying various enemy installations like power plants and radar sites. The reviewer notes the detailed graphics and challenging difficulty, but finds the simple controls make it easy to pick up and play. Screenshots demonstrate the in-game view and the radar display. The page also briefly mentions F-22 Interceptor, a more authentic combat flight simulator, and Jordan vs. Bird, 1-on-1, a basketball game with multiple modes. As a bonus, Electronic Arts is giving away copies of these 3 games to readers. This page shifts gears entirely to cover motorsports, specifically the 1992 JSPC All-Japan Sports Prototype Championship, Round 2, and the 1992 All-Japan F3 Championship, Round 3, both held at Fuji Speedway. The big headline declares Nissan's complete victory at Fuji, The JSPC race report details the fierce manufacturer battle between Nissan, 4 cars, Toyota, 3 cars, and Mazda, 2 cars, highlighting how Nissan ultimately triumphed, dominating the top positions. The F3 report focuses on Paris Ricard's impressive performance, achieving his third consecutive win. The page is filled with dynamic photos of the races, including the iconic Calsonic Nissan R91CP and various F3 cars battling it out. There are also shots of race queens, adding to the atmosphere of the event. Result tables list the top finishers for both JSPC and F3, showcasing the drivers and their machines.
Overall, it's a recap of a successful racing weekend for Nissan and SEGA Hard.
This page is a new release scramble feature, previewing upcoming software titles. It includes a list of games being covered such as Glock, Chase HQ2, Uncharted Waters, Vixen 357, Junkers High, Chernobyl, Gods, Night Legend, Xenon 2, Megablast, Crying, Ninja Gaiden, Shadow Warriors, and Lemmings. The main focus is a preview of Glock Air Battle for the Mega Drive. The article discusses the port of the popular arcade game, noting that the gameplay system remains similar, tasking players with shooting down enemies within a time limit to advance stages. The reviewer mentions that the port faithfully reproduces the speed and feel of the dogfighting, even though the development is only 40% complete. They note that movement is smooth, and enemies are displayed prominently, acknowledging that graphical detail for the ground and background is likely limited by the hardware, but the focus is on porting the core gameplay. Screenshots showcase various views, including cockpit, third-person action, the Sega logo, and a unique typewriter-style name entry screen. The preview confirms the game is planned for one player only, with the release date and price still undecided. This page is part of the New Release Scramble, previewing more upcoming titles for the Mega Drive. First up is Chase HQ2, tentative title. A port of the popular arcade car chase action game. Players chase down criminals in high-speed pursuits, using different vehicles, nitro boosts, and even help from a helicopter. Screenshots show the car selection screen and intense road action. The Mega Drive version promises to retain the arcade's thrilling system. Development is 90% complete, supporting one player. Next is Admiral's Decision, a naval simulation game from Ku Shibusawa, being ported from PC. Set during the Pacific War, players take command of either Japanese or Allied fleets, managing forces, planning strategies, and engaging in tactical battles. The game features historical scenarios and events, allowing for deep strategic gameplay.
Screenshots display strategic maps and fleet management screens.
This port is 80% complete and supports 2-player battles. Finally, there's Hyokori Hutanjima, Aim for the Great Leader, a Sugoroku board game title based on the beloved classic Japanese puppet show, Hyokori Hutanjima. Players navigate the board using characters from the show, aiming to become the island's leader.
Screenshots show the colorful game board and familiar character sprites. The game is 100% complete and allows up to 4 players. This page continues the New Release Scramble, showcasing more upcoming titles. First up is Fireball Kid Dodge Danpei, based on the popular anime and manga series. This is a fast-paced dodgeball game, featuring special moves in various game modes like tournaments, league play, and versus modes for both CPU and 2 players. The game boasts unique graphics and stats for each of the many characters across 15 different teams, and even includes varied courts like ice and sand. The preview highlights the intense and exciting nature of the gameplay, especially in head-to-head matches, and praises its faithful adaptation of the hot-blooded sports manga feel. Following that is Olympic Gold, Barcelona 92, a sports compilation game tied to the 1992 Summer Olympics. This title focuses heavily on rapid button presses and precise timing across its 7 included events, which feature sports like archery, hammer throw, athletics, and swimming. The game is described as physically demanding, mirroring the effort of real sports. Screenshots show the diverse range of events and the detailed pixel art for the time. It's presented as a challenging and immersive Olympic experience.
This page continues the New Release Scramble section, showcasing 2 upcoming titles. First is Vixen 357, an SF simulation emphasizing story. The main draw is definitely the mechs, or Tsukuhei, piloted by the characters, while there are other units like battleships. The core combat revolves around these armored soldiers. Combat involves both melee and shooting, with melee risking counterattacks but potentially dealing high damage. Characters gain experience and improve their mechs, and importantly, they can switch between different mech types as the scenario progresses and new units appear. Mastering the unique characteristics of each of the over 40 mech types is key. The game also features conversations between characters before and after battles to help players understand the situation. Screenshots show the tactical map, combat perspectives, and character portraits. Following that is Side Pocket, the popular billiards game. It's highlighted as a faithful adaptation of billiards, allowing control over cue position and power. Different game modes like Pocket and Obstacle are included. The visuals are clear, making it approachable even for beginners. The review notes the inclusion of attractive women characters and a sound check mode styled like a jukebox, adding to the atmosphere. The game promises a solid billiards experience with intuitive controls. Screenshots show gameplay and character art. The new release scramble for the Mega Drive highlights 3 upcoming titles. First, Junkers High, a futuristic 3D racing game, formerly Cyber Road, promises high speeds and roller coaster-like tracks in a near-future city. Developed by the Outrun team, it's slated for an August release and is 60% complete. Second, Gods, an action-adventure game from Bitmap Brothers, features upgraded gameplay from the UK release and a Greek mythology theme. The game involves exploration and item interaction and is nearly complete, 95%. Lastly, Night Legend, a tank battle simulation game focusing on World War II combat, is in early development, 20%. It will feature realistic maps and detailed tank data. This page features more upcoming game previews. The main highlight is the long-awaited Mega Drive port of Chelnov, developed by Data East and now 100% complete for a late July release. The text notes that the port is very faithful to the arcade original, with smooth movement, and focuses on showcasing various in-game screenshots, including cityscapes, factory levels, and large boss enemies. It seems the graphical changes from the arcade are minimal, preserving the game's unique style. The page also includes a new release information section from the Tokyo Toy Show, focusing on Mega Drive and Game Gear titles. For Mega Drive, several games were shown. Shinobi 2-1. Return of the Ninja Master makes an appearance, described as an anticipated ninja action game with an atmosphere compared to Streets of Rage and the Super Shinobi 2. Other showcase titles include Xenon 2, a popular vertical shooter from the Amiga, Crying, which seems to be based on a novel, and Lemmings, confirming the puzzle classic is coming with unique stages for the Mega Drive version. Screenshots provide a glimpse into each of these titles. Finally, the Game Gear section highlights sequels shown at the show. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and the GG Shinobi 2 were featured, exciting fans as continuations of popular Game Gear series. Screenshots show Sonic and Tails, mentioning Sonic might ride a vehicle this time, and a look at the GG Shinobi 2, suggesting allied ninjas might return. More details on these titles are expected next month. This page features a lively debate among readers and developers about the Sega Genesis's color performance, titled, "This Month's Discussion, Mega Drive Color Performance Debate." It seems to be a hot topic, prompted by reader feedback. Opinions are varied, with some younger players emphasizing the importance of visual effects and color count for good graphics, while others argue that game design and art style are more critical than just the number of colors. Some readers express frustration with the Genesis's apparent limitations compared to other consoles, specifically requesting hardware enhancements or adapters to increase the color palette. They feel it's necessary for future-proofing and attracting third-party developers to port higher-quality games. Conversely, some readers are perfectly happy with the existing color capabilities, stating that many current games look fine and that focusing solely on color count is missing the point. They believe developers should work within the hardware's strengths. Sega's hardware development staff weighs in, explaining that while color enhancement via adapters is technically possible, it significantly increases data size and cost, which are factors they considered when designing the system. Ultimately, the page highlights the different perspectives within the Genesis community regarding the console's technical capabilities and what makes a game visually appealing. This page features Beeple Land, Say Anything You Want About Games, a section where readers share their opinions. One reader gives harsh feedback on Satoru Nakajima's F1 Hero MD, feeling it relies too much on the name, with rough 3D graphics and poor control mechanics. They hope for better racing games from the developers in the future. Another reader discusses Magical Taruto-kun, finding it surprisingly good, especially praising the voice acting and graphics for its price. Moving to other platforms, a reader calls Tengai Makyo 2 on the PC Engine CD a masterpiece, saying it kept them hooked for 100 hours over a month, making them wonder if Lunar could surpass it. There's positive feedback for Nostalgia 1907, an adventure game praised for its smooth pacing and full voice acting, making it accessible even for those not typically good at the genre. Finally, there's mention of significant reader anger regarding Cosmic Fantasy this month, with comments about wanting to smash the disc, though others still hold expectations for it. Below, the page showcases fan illustrations from various readers, featuring characters from games like Lunar and others, adding a personal touch to the community feedback. A small Q&A addresses questions about submitting art and opinions. This page features BeepMD, Say Anything You Want About Games, a section filled with reader feedback and opinions on recent game releases and the industry. Readers weigh in on titles like Shining Force, noting critiques about enemy strategy, and Rig Veda, questioning reviews and game design approaches for different audiences. There's discussion about the high cost of games for younger players, and the ease of finding them in places like Akihabara. Several comments focus on the Mega CD, Sega CD, with one reader finding that while photo backgrounds are increasingly used, text interfaces are weak compared to the NES, suggesting a need for better text handling in RPGs and strategy games. Another reader requests a lower-priced Mega CD unit and suggests adding non-gaming features like MIDI ports and karaoke functions to justify the console's cost. Industry issues are highlighted, including distribution problems for the Mega Drive and the importance of considering the used game market. Software ideas are proposed, such as a music creation program akin to the drawing tool Art Alive. The legacy of older hardware like the Master System is defended against being labeled past. The page also showcases fan illustrations featuring characters from games like Lunar, The Silver Star, and Quiz Scramble Special. This page features the BeepMD Bin Bin Talk Hitokoto Special, a section where readers share their thoughts and comments. The feedback covers a wide range of topics, from favorite games like Sonic the Hedgehog being the best, to reflections on game ownership and the challenges of finding time for gaming as an adult or student. Several comments focus on the Sega CD and the newly released Sega CD-X, known as Wonder Mega in Japan, with one reader regretting buying the original Sega CD after seeing the convenience of the CD-X requiring only one power cord. There are mentions of specific games like Golden Axe 2 and Shining Force, with readers discussing their experiences and reasons for buying hardware. The character Wonder Dog also gets a mention, with humorous observations about its appearance. Readers also touch upon life concerns, such as studying, job hunting in the game industry, and the pressure of exams. There's a note about misprints in the magazine, and a brief report on a radio personality pushing the Mega Drive. The page includes a few small illustrations, including one about the struggles of exams. The section concludes with a note about the monthly prize for contributions being decided by lottery this time, a change from the previous method. This BeepMD page corrects errors from the previous issue and focuses on reader engagement. It features the MD-kun 4-panel manga, with humorous reader-submitted strips about the Mega Drive, particularly its price competitiveness against the Super Famicom. Reader comments offer context, revealing the magazine's broad appeal across Japan. The page outlines various contribution sections, encouraging readers to submit opinions on games, the industry, and general Mega Drive-related anecdotes. Illustrations and new MD-kun strips are also welcomed. Finally, the page announces the winners of the May Reader Contest, awarding prizes like software, card games, and merchandise, listing winners' names and locations. Submission guidelines and the address for future contributions are provided. This page highlights SegaFal.com's involvement in motorsports, specifically their sponsorship of the Take-One team in the '92 All-Japan Sports Prototype Car Endurance Championship Series. The article notes that this is part of SegaFal.com's broader ambitions in entertainment beyond just games. It features photos of the sponsored racing car and the pit crew, including driver Okada before a race check. A close-up shot points out the small but distinctive SegaFal.com logo on the car's body, described as shining red. The page details the results of the first two races, a 6th-place finish at Suzuka, and an impressive 2nd place at Fuji Speedway, showcasing the team's strong performance. This page includes the SF Hotline column, which reflects on the damp and gloomy rainy season. Reader submissions are featured next, showcasing fan art and requests. One drawing depicts a squid asking for cool software, while another character drawing accompanies a strong plea for a port of the Dragon Slayer series. Brandish is also requested alongside another character illustration. The editorial staff responds, assuring readers their opinions are being passed on. There's discussion about desired ports, particularly Dragon Slayer 2V and Sorcerian, suggesting they would be ideal for Mega Drive or Mega CD, with new scenarios being a key draw for Sorcerian. An apology is issued for being unable to make a promised announcement, possibly related to SegaFile.com's first title mentioned on the previous page. Finally, the Ruthless Industry column by Kazutaka Yano recounts a Sega third-party meeting filled with drinking and karaoke, detailing amusing anecdotes about various industry figures from companies like Riot, Wolf Team, and Taito, giving a glimpse into the more casual, behind-the-scenes interactions of the gaming world. This page features a special roundtable discussion presented as a Blitz interview with the main characters of the upcoming Sims and SoftBank RPG VE. The interviewer, Li Shito, introduces the game, highlighting that it will include voice acting, adding a new dimension for players. The page includes striking illustrations and brief profiles for 5 key characters central to the game's story. Hywelgar, the determined prince on a quest for revenge; Lifang, a powerful fighter aiming to be the best; Potol, the skilled half-elf hunter; Nina, a princess with a love for magic and baths; and Lancer, the enigmatic bard and mercenary. The core of the page is a transcript capturing a humorous, fictional interview where the characters discuss their grand adventure to find a legendary treasure and confront the forces of the Dark Country. The dialogue is lighthearted, offering glimpses into their personalities and goals. The segment ends rather abruptly, with the interviewer noting they have run out of space, promising that the continuation of this lively discussion will be in the following issue. It's a fun, engaging way to introduce the key players and build anticipation for the game. This page features the Sims communication section, opening with a humorous exposé titled, Dangerous Series, Sims Exposes, Secret Software Info Revealed, sequenfa.com. Software Development Plan. It recounts a potentially exaggerated tale about a friend involved in a secret Famicom development project for a major competitor, likely Nintendo, long ago, featuring a faulty development board and eventual cancellation. The tone is lighthearted gossip about the industry. Adjacent is the Mystery 4-panel comic, Quiz, Lord's Ambition Secrets, a manga strip integrating a quiz question related to finding errors in past issues. The quiz itself, presented by the Mouse Ninja character, challenges readers to identify mistakes in previous Sims communication articles and advertisements. Finally, the Letters Corner showcases reader mail and artwork, including an illustration titled Cyber Road, and providing an update that a previously mentioned game tentatively known as Cyber Road is now officially titled Junkers High. It's a lively mix of industry gossip, interactive content, and reader engagement. This page highlights the Macintosh game Lil Zone, presented as a multimedia declaration for those seeking innovation. The article delves into the world of this interactive theater, showcasing its visually impressive 3D graphics, described as being of international caliber. The review walks through various scenes, starting with an opening sequence utilizing QuickTime movies and leading into explorations of a futuristic city. Specific areas mentioned include encountering a broken robot, chasing another robot, discovering locations that hint at past human inhabitants, finding a mysterious rotating sound tower, and visiting a shooting range where different weapons can be used against targets like robots. The reviewer also describes a control room, with numerous monitors displaying QuickTime content, noting its aesthetic reminds them of Leiji Matsumoto's science fiction works, such as Space Battleship Yamato, while acknowledging that Lil Zone may not have strong traditional gameplay elements, being more akin to an interactive movie or theatrical experience. The article hails it as an epoch-making work. It suggests Lil Zone offers a glimpse into the future direction of multimedia software, encouraging readers to experience it if they have the opportunity. This page is an advertisement and price list from the Santa Specialist Shop, focusing on Sega consoles and software. It prominently features Santa Claus and lists contact information for ordering. The main content showcases various Sega products available, starting with Santa's recommended new releases Best 10 for May through July, including titles like Thunder Force IV and Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2. There's also a larger list of software released during that same period, and Santa's recommended Best Hits 20, featuring classic titles like Outrun, Sonic, the Hedgehog, The Revenge of Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and Shining Force. The page also lists prices for Sega hardware, including the Mega Drive and Game Gear consoles, as well as peripherals like control pads and adapters. Software for the Game Gear and Master System is listed, often grouped by price point, alongside a selection of imported Western versions of games. The bottom section briefly covers ordering methods and shipping costs. This page presents a comprehensive mail-order price list from another shop, offering a wide array of consoles and software for various platforms. It's a valuable snapshot of the game market at the time, showing pricing for consoles like the Super Famicom, Mega Drive, PC Engine systems, Famicom, Game Boy, Game Gear, and even the Neo Geo. The lists cover numerous games, featuring popular titles of the era across different systems. You'll find classics like Street Fighter II and Final Fantasy IV for Super Famicom, Wonder Boy games and Thunder Force IV for the Mega Drive, Lunar, the Silver Star on Mega CD, Martype and Final Fantasy for PC Engine, and Sonic the Hedgehog for both Mega Drive and Game Gear. The Neo Geo section highlights its high-end console and expensive cartridges, including games like King of Fighters. The page also includes brief sections on how to order via telephone and mail, as well as a guide on pricing and important notes regarding condition, new items only, potential price fluctuations, and stock availability. All prices are listed as tax-inclusive. It reflects a competitive market, with different shops offering mail-order services for the latest and greatest games. This page presents the Be Mega Hot menu, showcasing upcoming titles. Part 1 features Thunder Force IV on page 61, Royal Blood on page 65, King Colossus on page 68, Grey Lancer on page 70, Paperboy on page 74, and Dyna Brothers on page 76. The main focus is a deep dive into Thunder Force IV, set for release on July 24th by Technosoft.
The article highlights the game's key selling points. It notes the addition of vertical scrolling, expanding the gameplay beyond typical horizontal shooters and enhancing the detailed backgrounds. The game leverages its large 8 meters cartridge capacity for this visual fidelity. Another significant feature is the improved stage select, allowing players to choose any of the first 4 stages initially, a refinement from Thunder Force 2i. The speed control system is also discussed, offering finer adjustments in 1% increments compared to the previous game's limited levels, allowing for more precise handling. Screenshots illustrate the expanded scrolling, detailed environments, and the stage selection interface, emphasizing the exciting new elements of this highly anticipated entry in the series. This page continues the deep dive into Thunder Force IV, focusing on the game's arsenal and early stages. The weapon manual section details the various armaments available. Starting with the basic twin shot, it covers upgrades like the blade and backshot, powerful options like the railgun and snake, and strategic tools like the homing hunter, the defensive claw, the unique directional freeway, and the protective shield. Acquiring these diverse weapons and understanding their uses is crucial for success. Following the weapon breakdown is a guide to Stage 2, set in a ruined space colony. The text warns players about an immediate hazard. Moving upwards too quickly at the start will lead to hitting a wall. It also mentions recurring enemies that drop fan-shaped bullet patterns upon defeat, requiring careful dodging. The mid-boss for the stage fires many slow, fan-shaped bullets that are avoidable with steady evasion while countering. Finally, the guide offers a strategy for defeating the Stage 2 boss. This boss features 2 large turrets. Initially, they fire 1 shot each, but once one turret is destroyed, the remaining one fires 3 shots simultaneously. The key weak point is not the turrets, but the core located in the center of the boss. The recommended strategy is to stay on the left side of the screen, constantly dodging the boss's laser and bullet attacks, while focusing fire on the core. A specific tip is to reduce engine speed to about 50% for safer movement during the intense fight. This page delves further into Thunder Force IV, guiding players through the challenges of Stage 3 and the unique nature of Stage 5. Stage 3 sees relentless attacks from bomber formations, requiring constant movement and pattern memorization to dodge bombs and lasers. Later, faster enemies appear from the right, demanding continuous forward fire. The Stage 3 boss has shifting attacks, depending on its line axis component, circular lasers, or destroyable missiles. Taking down its turrets reveals the core, the true weak point, best attacked from the rear while avoiding its homing missiles and spawned enemies. Stage 5 acts as a crucial midpoint,
accessible only after clearing the first 4 stages. It opens with immediate enemy waves firing in 3 directions,
emphasizing the need for perpetual vertical movement. The formidable battleship from Stage 1 returns. Bristling with turrets vulnerable to weapons like the Hunter or Snake, players must navigate forward and back along the ship, focusing on destroying turrets. The boss encounter in Stage 5 is less about destruction and more about survival. The mid-boss retreats after damage, while the main boss is invincible, featuring a devastating laser. The goal here is simply to endure, power up weapons, and transition to the game's latter half. Overall, this page breaks down the intense challenges of Stage 3 and the survival-focused mechanics of the Stage 5 transition in Thunder Force IV. This page continues the deep dive into Thunder Force IV, moving into the game's challenging later stages. Stage 6 takes players to the ice planet Vorvados, marking the beginning of the second half. Combat shifts to an underwater environment dominated by marine life enemies like jellyfish and various fish. Mid-bosses become significantly tougher, with some possessing regeneration abilities. The stage features vertical scrolling, but the effectiveness of the blade weapon might be reduced here. Following this is Stage 7, set on the volcanic planet Desvio.
This stage is characterized by intense heat, with magma and poisonous gas erupting throughout. The visuals convey the oppressive environment. Players must navigate treacherous hot zones using the Line Axis ship, pushing forward against relentless enemies that demand careful play. The page also covers a significant event, the Thunder Force IV new title announcement meeting held in Tokyo on May 8. Technosoft, the developers who achieved great success with Thunder Force 2i, presented their highly anticipated sequel. The event included comments from Technosoft's president, expressing confidence in the room cartridge format and the quality of Thunder Force IV. A traditional editorial tournament was also held, where representatives from various gaming magazines, including BeepMD, MegaDrive Fan, Hippon Super, Famicom Tsushin, and Marukatsu Super Famicom, competed. Hippon Super took first place, while the Beep Mega editorial team finished third. A comment from the developer emphasizes that Thunder Force IV surpasses its highly regarded predecessor, assuring players of its quality. This page delves into the strategic world of Royal Blood, a fantasy simulation game for the Mega Drive. Set on the island kingdom of Ishumeria, the game sees players take on the role of an independent noble aiming to overthrow the tyrannical king Isolrid. The ultimate goal is to unify the land by collecting 6 powerful jewel magicians and the crown, leading to the protagonist becoming the new ruler. The game incorporates unique elements beyond standard conquest, including natural disasters like blizzards and epidemics, as well as monster events triggered by the island's diverse monster inhabitants. Scenario 1 is highlighted, focusing on the potential paths led by nobles like Elan and Redwalter, 2 of the 4 playable characters in this scenario, alongside Lanfranc and Gash. The page features a map of Ishumeria, illustrating the various territories players will compete to control. It also provides profiles for the key nobles and their associated jewel magicians, starting in Scenario 1. Portraits and brief descriptions are given for Redwalter Lyle with Meathia, Elan Branch with Sunglass, Gash Chrysalis with Chilling, Lanfranc Coral with Flame, and Leandel Mopal with Poison. These summaries detail their backgrounds, abilities, and HP. Finally, King Esselpred and the formidable Crown Dragon are introduced as the primary antagonists players must ultimately confront. The game requires shrewd strategy, utilizing both noble armies and the unique powers of the jewel magicians to succeed. Royal Blood on the Mega Drive blends domestic management with warfare. The core gameplay loop involves building a strong territory by focusing on domestic affairs, then engaging in war for expansion and ultimate victory. Players can prioritize war if needed, but typically begin by managing their territory, using Scenario 1's Redwalter as an example. Effective governance attracts beneficial lucky monsters, LMS, that offer bonuses, while neglect spawns harmful evil monsters, EMs, that negatively impact the territory. Preparation for war includes hiring troops across 14 divisions, each unit having associated upkeep costs and attack capabilities. Powerful special units, especially Division 5 troops like the Water Dragon Pasha and Crown Dragon, are key to winning battles. The guide also details how to read the game's main map and battle screens, displaying vital information like territory stats, troop numbers, and battle progress. This guide page for Royal Blood focuses on battle strategy and achieving complete conquest. Section 3 outlines battle mechanics, including unit divisions, heavy cavalry, infantry, longbowmen, turn cycles, and the importance of barricades. The attacker must win within 5 days. Section 4 emphasizes the conquest objective, highlighting challenging opponents like King Esselred, and rewards like gems and the Crown Dragon. Defeating key enemies simplifies the game. The page features illustrations and screenshots, showcasing the game's graphics, including the Water Dragon Pasha, and a map displaying progression. The developer emphasizes the game's historical depth, encouraging players to explore the Royal Blood Handbook for further information. The Kingdom of Ishmeria Achieving Peace suggests a potential positive ending. King Colossus, a Sega Mega Drive action RPG, boasts a compelling story and high-quality action gameplay. Produced and designed by manga artist Makoto Ojino, the game presents a young man with a mysterious past who embarks on a destiny-filled journey. The action is praised for its quality, incorporating jumping and jumping attacks to enhance combat. Players can utilize 27 weapon types and magic. The initial quest, Southwest Cave, sees the protagonist, raised by an old man, sent to retrieve a stolen iron sword. He faces perilous creatures in the cave and must succeed to avoid punishment. Screenshots reveal stats, a world map, and character interactions. The game highlights the protagonist's journey of self-discovery as he battles enemies, including a half-fish creature, and questions his identity. The guide continues for King Colossus, detailing quests beyond acquiring the iron sword. Quest 2 sends the hero to Ganon's shrine to repair the rusty sword. Inside, strong enemies and a hidden blacksmith hinder progress. Quest 3 involves rescuing Ganon's daughter, kidnapped by an evil god cult. The hero, aided by the old man, enters Gyuto's tower, battling monsters and solving puzzles. Rescuing the daughter allows the hero to receive the repaired sword. The old man hints at this being his final instruction, setting up future quests related to the hero's emblem and birth. Screenshots illustrate gameplay, character interactions, and boss battles. A developer comment acknowledges their work on the game's sound. This page features a deep dive into the upcoming Sega Mega Drive title, Glee Lancer, developed by Messiah and scheduled for a July 17th release. The article highlights the game's unique gunner system, detailing the 2 attachment types and their 7 distinct characteristics, emphasizing that understanding their synergy with your ship's weapons is crucial for success. It also showcases the game's option screen, allowing players to customize difficulty, controls, and toggle story elements, or use an auto-fire feature for convenience. Beyond being a pure shooter, Glee Lancer incorporates a narrative, following protagonist Lucia's quest to rescue her captured father. The opening demo, described as impressive, sets up this story as Lucia boards the titular fighter. The magazine staff seem excited about the blend of action and story, assuring players who prefer pure gameplay that the story can be skipped via the options. Screenshots show the game's title, gunner selection, various in-game scenarios, the configuration menu, and dramatic character moments. This page continues the look at Glee Lancer, detailing the first 3 stages. Stage 1, Jupiter's Ring, is described as a challenging start, requiring players to navigate dense rings and distinguish between obstacles and enemies, with a warning not to get distracted by the background. Stage 2, Planet Neeladir, features a planet with vast oceans, where the ship can dive underwater. Enemies attack relentlessly from both the air and sea, and the reviewer notes the detailed water splash effects and the persistent nature of the foes, highlighting a squid-like boss. Stage 3, Planet Enora, is set in dark, cave-like environments, emphasizing careful navigation through narrow passages and recommending the bound weapon mode for the terrain. The article also mentions vertical scrolling sections in this stage. Finally, a message from the director discusses the game's large data size, allowing for numerous sampled voices and cutscenes, expressing confidence in the game's quality and replayability. This page features the Sega Mega CD title Maten no Sumetsu, scheduled for a September release with the price yet to be decided. The page showcases concept art of characters within an ornate, Gothic-style frame, including a knightly figure, a more robed individual, and a skeletal demon head design. The text provides a synopsis of the game's story, following Ulnanis and Lilith, who encounter a knight burdened by a sad fate. Their journey involves facing strange events, overcoming strong enemies with the help of a sage and companions, including a ninja. Algenis is wounded by destiny in battle, and Lilith's kindness heals him, leading into a mystery about who awaits Algenis and his ultimate fate. Key game features mentioned are its 8 mega room size and the inclusion of battery backup, indicating save functionality.
The next page continues the focus on the Sega Mega CD title, Maten no Sumetsu. The artwork features the protagonist, Alkonis, armed with a sword, alongside a mysterious silhouetted figure shown within an elaborate, framed section. The prominent text on the right side poses a dramatic question directly to Alnus. Alnus, who is the figure standing behind you? This highlights a central mystery or conflict within the game's narrative, likely connecting to Alnus's destiny and the companions or adversaries he encounters, as introduced on the previous page. The overall presentation emphasizes suspense and the importance of the characters surrounding the protagonist.
This page is dedicated to the classic arcade title Paperboy, published by Tengen for the Mega Drive and released on June 26. The article discusses the game's premise, becoming famous by successfully completing a week of newspaper deliveries. It highlights the unique appeal of the game, which involves riding a bicycle through a neighborhood, tossing papers onto doorsteps or into mailboxes, while navigating obstacles and avoiding hazards like cars, pedestrians, and even dogs. The article emphasizes the satisfying mechanic of throwing the newspaper and the skill required to deliver accurately and avoid crashing. It also details the choice of 3 different routes available: Easy Street, Middle Road, and Hard Way. Easy Street is described as the beginner course to learn the basics, Middle Road offers more challenge for those seeking excitement, and Hard Way is the most difficult, aimed at specialists who want the highest scores, despite facing the toughest obstacles. The reviewer notes that the difficulty increases significantly each day, even on the easier routes.
This page delves deeper into the rules and nuances of delivering newspapers in Paperboy. It explains that delivery happens once a day from Monday to Sunday, emphasizing the risk of getting fired, kubi, if you fail to deliver properly, hit too many obstacles and lose all your lives, or even vandalize non-subscriber houses. The article highlights specific hazards to watch out for, including dangerous cars, especially those driven by old ladies, troublesome residents, and unpredictable animals like cats. It also points out helpful features like mailbox placement, indicating subscriber houses, and embankments, serving as jump ramps for bonus points. A key strategy detailed is aiming for perfect delivery. Successfully delivering to every subscriber house not only nets you double the normal points, but also brings back a previously canceled subscriber. After completing the daily delivery route, players enter a training mode where they can practice tossing papers at targets, with jumps providing newspaper resupply. The page dramatically illustrates the potential outcomes of a week of deliveries by showing 2 possible newspaper front pages, one celebrating you as a new hero for successfully completing the week, and another branding you a failure and a loser if you get fired. Tengen adds a message encouraging players, especially Atari fans, to enjoy the game and relieve stress through this unique delivery experience. This page introduces Dyna Brothers, a strategy simulation game supervised by the popular Rika Kayama. The game features 5 types of expressive dinosaurs who band together to fight off an alien invasion, with the player taking the role of the egg, a key element in their survival. The core gameplay revolves around raising these dinosaurs, balancing herbivores and carnivores, and utilizing a variety of 8 commands to guide them, make grass grow, create new dinosaurs, or even trigger sudden mutations or catastrophes. Players must master these commands to increase their dinosaur numbers and achieve victory against the extraterrestrial invaders. The page provides icons and brief descriptions for each dinosaur type and command, alongside a small screenshot illustrating the in-game view. This page focuses on mastering the strategy in Dyna Brothers, starting with a guide to using the powerful disaster commands. There are 5 types: lightning, which instantly hatches eggs; drought, which withers plants and is useful against herbivores; earthquake, which cracks eggs in the cursor area; flood, which sweeps away enemies in concentrated areas; and meteor, which causes widespread fires and is good against clustered enemies. These commands require varying levels of power. The page then breaks down the steps to clear Stage 1. Step 1 is to prioritize raising herbivores, specifically the breeding and defense types. Step 2 involves gradually introducing carnivores and egg-eaters once the herbivore population grows. Step 3 emphasizes monitoring enemy movements and using your accumulated power to unleash disaster attacks to wipe them out. Finally, Step 4 states the victory condition for Stage 1, destroying the enemy UFO. The screenshots illustrate key moments like using disasters and dinosaur progression. This page presents a discussion titled, "That's Why I Can't Stop Playing Games," featuring psychiatrist Rika Kayama and Kazutaka Yano. They delve into the current state of the game industry. Kayama notes the extreme divide in game sales,
where hit games sell incredibly well but others don't sell at all, suggesting users are very discerning. Yakarhino discusses how the move to 16-bit and now Credrom systems allows for much more content, like full-motion video and music, but they ponder how to best utilize this. They touch upon how games like Space Invaders relied on player imagination, whereas newer games deliver fully formed visuals, leaving less to the user. The conversation also highlights the immense popularity of Tetris, which Yano discovered in the US and became a hit in Japanese arcades, and was surprisingly popular with women, according to Kayama's observations in hospitals. They wrap up by considering whether gaming becoming mainstream might make it less exciting, although Kayama believes it's still enjoyable due to the small, personal victories and discoveries within the games, like finding a strategy nobody else knows. This page is a special feature dedicated to the legendary F1 driver Ayrton Senna, titled Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GPI Special, and also Special Feature BeepMD. The main image captures Senna's McLaren Honda racing car, navigating the iconic uphill section of the Monaco Grand Prix track. Dramatic vertical text on the right reads, "To those who surpass Ayrton Senna." At the bottom left, there's a smaller photo of Senna inside his cockpit. The bottom right features an Ayrton Senna profile, listing key career statistics such as wins, world championships, and pole positions. It also includes a commentary discussing his remarkable winning streak at the Monaco GP and his challenge to achieve a 5th consecutive victory, referencing Nigel Mansell's recent record. Photo credits for both images are included. This page is a special feature dedicated to the legendary F1 driver Ayrton Senna, highlighting his connection to the iconic Monaco Grand Prix and the game Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2. The feature discusses the unique atmosphere of the Monaco GP, calling it a race of destiny, and Senna's historical success there. It covers the challenges he faced, particularly in the 1992 season, battling the dominant Williams-Renault, driven by Nigel Mansell, and the significant performance gap with his McLaren Honda. The article references a press conference from October 1991, where Senna spoke about Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, expressing his hope that the game would draw people into motorsports. Notably, it mentions that just 3 days after this press event, Senna secured his 3rd world championship at the Japanese Grand Prix in 1991. Images show Senna racing his McLaren Honda, trying out the Super Monaco GP2 arcade simulator, and at the game's press conference. This page dives deeper into Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, detailing its features and gameplay. It introduces the 3 main modes: Senna GP, World Championship, and Free Practice. The Senna GP mode is highlighted as unique, featuring tracks like the one Senna designed in Brazil, along with his favorites, Suzuka, Estoril, and Monaco. Mastering these earns a special Super license. The page also covers the game's controls and transmission options, showing the Sega Genesis controller layout and the choices between automatic, 4-speed manual, and 7-speed manual, humorously noting the lack of a 6-speed option. A key point discussed is the game's handling, specifically praising the pleasant grip of the tires. The reviewer notes how the car responds accurately to steering input, contrasting it with other racing games where poor grip makes cornering difficult. The ability to take challenging turns like Suzuka's 130R at full speed due to the game's realistic friction modeling is mentioned, concluding that this responsive and realistic handling is incredibly satisfying. The overall impression is that the game incorporates Senna's ideals for realistic racing simulation. This text explores the challenging simulation features of Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2. The game realistically recreates iconic track elements like the Monaco Tunnel, testing players' skills with sudden darkness and sharp turns. Pit stops, crucial in Master Mode due to car damage, add another layer of realism. Car-to-car contact, especially during starts, is realistically simulated, with the importance of checking the rearview mirror emphasized. The game also accurately simulates Suzuka's overpass, offering braking guidance. Drafting via slipstream is implemented, creating exhilarating overtaking opportunities. Crashes can lead to immediate retirement, while subtle contact may allow a quick recovery. Finally, racing in the rain dramatically alters handling and overtaking difficulty, adding another layer of challenge and replicating real-world conditions. The game focuses on delivering realistic racing simulations. This page features an Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2 special. It highlights that the game includes Senna's advice on each course, offering insight into how he thinks about racing lines and strategy, making it quite interesting. The detailed CG graphics incorporating colorful photos enhance the feeling of a real race. A section quotes Senna stating, "Let's fight together for the next year and 16 races. Putting our best effort in. The goal is world champion." There are images of Senna's autograph, including one from when he visited Sega and signed an F3 machine. The page also includes a section titled Cliffhanger McLaren and Senna, which provides comments related to the San Marino GP. It notes the McLaren team's post-race comments were severe, mentioning that Senna was exhausted after the race due to dehydration and muscle strain in his shoulder from machine vibration, making maintaining concentration difficult. Ron Dennis commented that Ayrton's third-place result accurately reflected their performance level in qualifying. Yasuhide Oka, the Honda team leader, added that the engine temperature rose more than expected during the second formation lap, and given the circumstances, Ayrton did a great job. The page hopes to hear more cheerful comments after the Monaco GP. The visuals include various photos of Senna, game screenshots showing race results, and close-ups of his racing gear. The next page provides a comprehensive look at the all-drivers list for Super Monaco GP2. Highlighting the goal to aim for Senna of Team Madonna. The game features 16 drivers across 16 teams, strategically divided into 5 performance classes, ranging from S to D.
Ayrton Senna rightfully sits at the top in the S-Class.
The content explains that drivers in different classes possess varying machine performance, including engine specifications. Players are encouraged to challenge rivals to climb the ranks towards the higher classes, though there's a risk of demotion if challenged and defeated. Each entry includes the driver's portrait, team name, a screenshot of their car, and details on the chassis, engine, and max power, serving as a vital guide to the competition. This page features a special report by Hiroshi Naito on Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, under the Sonic Communication banner. Naito, an experienced driver, shares his impressions of the game, comparing the virtual racing experience to driving his own NSX on the real Suzuka circuit. He is highly impressed, calling it the peak of current racing games, and noting how accurately it reproduces the track's nuances, including the subtle elevation changes and tire grip. He believes the game successfully captures the circuit drive feel that racing games should convey, praising its quality compared to arcade machines. Naito highlights the realism of the physics, such as gear shifts, acceleration, braking, and rival car movements, expressing excitement for the software's potential and hoping it leads to a series that gets even closer to real driving. He even states his ambition to create a racing game that surpasses this one.
The page also introduces Master Ohori, a notable figure returning to game development after a break. Invited by Naito, Ohori is joining a new project and promises a meticulous approach to game creation, building anticipation for what's to come, which is hinted to be revealed in the next issue. Screenshots show gameplay from Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2 and Naito driving an NSX. This page features a column by Hiroyuki Takahashi titled, "I Want to Make the Industry More Interesting." He reports on giving a special lecture at Enix Academy, sharing his thoughts on the difficulty of teaching game design and being genuinely impressed by the students' enthusiasm and the Academy's curriculum. He felt a strong sense of potential future talent in the audience. Takahashi discussed his game development philosophy, and the lecture turned into a mix of serious topics and off-the-cuff industry commentary, running over 2 hours, with the Q&A session being particularly intense, especially regarding the Shining Force series. He notes that recruitment for game designers and assistants was mentioned. He hopes to give more lectures in the future and prepare more structured content. Screenshots from the Shining Force series are included, showing character interfaces and battle scenes. Below, the page includes the Taguchidogen's Dojo of Maxims column. This section presents a humorous conversation between Taguchi and Dogen, as they review submitted phrases or proverbs from readers. The submissions offer observational or satirical takes on the game industry or life, such as, "Starts well but the content is bad," or commentary on the role of money and connections. They discuss correcting some of the phrasing in the submissions, and engage in light-hearted banter, even reacting to a more unusual submission about being attacked in the middle of the night. The column ends with a promise to meet again next month. This page features several engaging columns for readers. Professor Tagawa takes us on a humorous, potentially fictional, weekend space trip, recounting getting lost on Mars while observing the EOS plan and encountering someone in a Martian costume, sparking discussions about cosplay and Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles, complete with a relevant illustration. There's also a detailed look at the magazine's Elephant's Hole section,
explaining the steps of game design from initial planning to drafting, listing crucial aspects like controller setup, graphics, scenario, and programming considerations for reader submissions. They are actively recruiting for participants and mention an upcoming announcement regarding their point system, encouraging readers to dive into game design. Adding some visual levity is a manga strip titled Clash Metal Mama, featuring a skull character in a comic scenario, even asking for games like Demon Hunter Yoko and Valis I. Finally, the ending section includes an apology for the delayed announcement of Into Hiroshi's new 16 meg game, and a warm thank you to numerous contributors who sent in feedback and materials, with a specific mention of the Shining Force series. This page features a column by Jam Oji-san, delving into the state of the TV game industry, particularly focusing on Sega. This is the third part of a series specifically titled, Mega Drive is in Danger. Now is the chance for a new leap. A bold strategy needed. The author discusses how the industry is facing a slump and becoming conservative, potentially turning into a Nintendo business, but sees an opportunity for Sega to differentiate itself. They touch on the Super Famicom's market situation, noting that while popular, software quality varies, and there's a potential shift towards subcontracting for third parties. Side articles highlight recent news, including Sega's copyright issues tentatively resolving in the US. Excitement is shown for Lunar on the Sega CD, hope to drive hardware sales. Finally, the immensely popular arcade game Street Fighter II is coming to the Super Famicom, a release the Mega Drive camp is also interested in. Jam Oji-san's column, Mega Drive is in Danger, analyzes Sega's industry position and suggests a bold new strategy is needed. This page features the first installment of a column titled, Eric's Chainplay Pursuits, Hooked Game Experiences Log, by Eric C. Sedensky. Pictured with his bio, Eric is an American who developed a deep interest in Japanese culture, including gaming, after first visiting in 1985. His column recounts his personal journey through gaming and Japanese leisure. He began with limited funds as a student, enjoying pachinko and early arcade games like Space Invaders and Pac-Man. His passion truly ignited with Atari systems, amassing a significant collection of hardware and software. Later, advertisements for the Sega Mega Drive, particularly mentions of games like the Super Shinobi 2 and the Maju Tairiku, Beast Warriors, piqued his interest. He details his decision to purchase a Mega Drive and later a Mega CD, clearing games like Shinobi 2i, and building a collection of over 200 games across both systems, also owning 2 Macintosh computers for game-related work. Eric describes himself as someone who loves leisure activities, with a particular fondness for gambling like pachinko, even writing a book on the subject. He is currently studying various aspects of Japanese culture, including pachinko, manga, horse racing, and, of course, video games, especially the Mega Drive. This column serves as his reflection on these experiences and his ongoing passion. This page reveals that the official title for the Sega original project, previously known as Development Code 1212X, is Crying. This article serves as Pre-Story Volume 3, detailing the background leading into the game's events. It describes the distant planet Avalon, Rond Seat C8283, which initially appears peaceful and similar to Earth, albeit with life forms in a primitive state. The narrative recounts a spaceship, the Excalibur, heading towards Avalon with 100 individuals in cold sleep, including James Takagawa, son of the theoretical leader of the Planetary Modification Project, Ernest Takagawa. As the story unfolds, strange phenomena occur on Avalon, involving biological manipulation, viruses, and seemingly inexplicable dream states experienced by the crew in cold sleep. These events challenge existing biological understanding and set the stage for the game's unfolding tragedy on Avalon. This page continues the press story for the Sega game, Crying. The narrative follows James waking from cold sleep aboard the Excalibur spaceship as it approaches the planet Avalon. In his dream, he sees his father Ernest on a green, Earth-like world, feeling satisfied. The ship then lands safely on Avalon, where James and others breathe in the planet's atmosphere, and their new life begins. The story concludes with, To be continued. The page also introduces the strange life forms encountered on Avalon in an article titled, Sad Slimes Transformed by Viruses. It describes bizarre, virus-affected creatures, detailing them as massive single-celled or collective multicellular slime types that feed by engulfing other organisms. Illustrations show 3 distinct evolution forms of these grotesque creatures. Finally, there's an announcement of the winners for a reader art contest for enemy characters, showcasing some excellent creature designs submitted by readers, selected by Sega staff, and the magazine editors. This page reports on a major legal battle faced by Sega regarding patent infringement in the TV game industry. The article details a lawsuit filed by American inventor Jan Coyle, who claimed Sega's products infringed upon his patent related to video reacting to sound. The patent description is illustrated with simple diagrams showing how a video signal responds when a sound signal is connected, but not when it's disconnected. According to the report, Coyle initially demanded $18 million, roughly 25 billion yen, and while Sega's technical analysis concluded their systems did not infringe the patent, they ultimately settled the case. The reported settlement amount is around 5.7 billion yen, or 4 billion yen plus royalties based on detailed text. The article expresses skepticism about the patent's validity, describing it as potentially broad enough to apply to standard televisions, and questions why Sega chose to settle, despite believing they were in the right. This decision to abandon a thorough resistance and agree to a settlement, despite the patent seemingly being a simple paper patent, suggests significant underlying issues.
This page provides an update on Sega's patent infringement lawsuit from American inventor Jan Coyle, focusing on the industry's reaction and the potential future implications. Major game companies were asked for their comments, with responses ranging from Nintendo stating the issue was concluded for them with little interest in Sega's actions, to others like Konami and Capcom offering no comment, and Namco expressing interest in the situation. The article emphasizes that the patent dispute is likely not over, noting that Coyle's patent remains valid in the EGRS for several more years. There is concern that other major game companies might be targeted next, especially given that Nintendo had reportedly settled a previous claim from Coyle. Despite believing their technology did not infringe, Sega's decision to settle for approximately 5.7 billion yen is analyzed as a pragmatic choice, potentially influenced by the complexities of the issue's patent system and the risk of a larger loss in court. The page also features a screenshot from the game Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. This page marks the start of a new column called BeepMD Paranoia Empire, which aims to explore video games from wider cultural perspectives, starting with the Bitmap brothers. The focus is on their game Xenon 2, Mega Blast, and its connection to the techno music scene. The article highlights the Bitmap brothers, a UK developer known for games like Xenon 2, Speedball, likely Speedball 2, Brutal Deluxe, and Gods, all slated for release on the Mega Drive. A key reason for their popularity and the quality of their games, according to the column, is their strong focus on music. It discusses how Xenon 2's use of the actual house music track, Mega Blast, by Bomb the Bass was groundbreaking. This brought authentic, popular dance music into the gaming world, and sparked conversations about the potential of game music beyond simple chip sounds. The column argues that using real, high-quality music makes games more compelling compared to generic soundtracks, a trend it suggests was prevalent at the time. The page features a large illustration depicting a character reminiscent of Xenon 2's protagonists, complete with goggles and detailed weaponry, set against background elements from the game like the Into the Dragon title and dragon imagery. This page features the 6th installment of the Adventurer's Tales column, titled Youth Crossing the Desert. This is a non-gaming article focusing on Japanese explorer Otani Kozui and his early 20th century expeditions along the Silk Road in Central Asia. The column highlights Otani's youthful start, beginning his dangerous journeys at just 18, and the myriad challenges he faced, from treacherous landscapes like the Taklamakan Desert to bandits, illness, and the volatile political climate of the time, including the backdrop of Western powers vying for influence and rivalries with other explorers like Sven Hedin and Aurel Stein. The article explains how these explorations were deeply intertwined with the age of imperialism and even spy warfare. Ultimately, political and financial pressures led to the end of his expeditions and the loss of much of his valuable findings. The page includes a portrait illustration of Otani Kozui and a drawing depicting ancient ruins, likely along the Silk Road. The column concludes by stating that future installments will shift focus to adventurers from novels. This page serves as a comprehensive guide for filling out the magazine's Reader Survey postcard. It explains how to provide feedback on the issue, including impressions and requests for specific games to be ported. The survey covers basic demographics like gender, age, and occupation, along with questions about the reader's gaming habits,
such as the number of Mega Drive titles owned and which computer/game magazines they read. It also asks for feedback on the current issue, prompting readers to list their 5 most and least favorite articles. A key part of the survey focuses on hardware ownership, listing various consoles from the Mega Drive and its add-ons like the Mega CD to competitors like Famicom, Super Famicom, and PC Engine. Finally, it asks readers to select the single game they most want to purchase next from a numbered list of 84 titles. This extensive list features a mix of existing and upcoming Mega Drive and Sega CD games, including known titles like Lunar, The Silver Star, Speedball 2, Brutal Deluxe, Paperboy, Wonder Dog, Rampart, Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, Prince of Persia, Thunder Force IV, Musha, Rise of the Dragon, Simirth, Wing Commander, Road Rash, Golden Axe 2i, Gods, Splatterhouse 2, Shinobi 2i, Lemmings, Side Pocket, Taito Chase HQ2, and Olympic Gold, among many Japan-only releases. The guide provides clear instructions and examples on how to mark answers by filling in circles, emphasizing neatness when cutting out the postcard. This page kicks off the Mega CD Press, a feature introducing new discs for the Mega CD. The highlight here is Afterburner 2i, focusing on its operational feel as a major selling point. The article places it within the context of Sega's legendary Taikan game series, alongside arcade hits like Outrun, Space Harrier, and Hangin'. It traces the lineage from the original Afterburner through sequels like Glock, Air Battle, and related titles like Strike Fighter, noting Afterburner 2 saw releases on PC platforms before this new entry lands on the Mega CD. Developed by CSK Research Institute, Afterburner 2i is scheduled for an August release at 8,400 yen and is shown with a 70% completion gauge for one player only. The feature also notes that while the previous issue focused on the opening animation, this one will delve into gameplay and weapons. The page features a prominent photo of an F-14 Tomcat and screenshots showing the powerful opening sequence, specifically highlighting a beautiful formation of 3 planes, suggesting high anticipation for the presentation aspects, like the opening demo and in-game music. A sidebar lists other exciting Mega CD titles covered later in the magazine. The next page continues the look at Afterburner 2i, focusing on the various game modes available. The article notes that unlike previous Afterburner games, this title offers several modes to choose from, allowing players to start the game by selecting their preferred style. 4 modes are immediately apparent: Arcade, Tutorial, Original, and Competition, visible on the title screen. The article describes the original mode as reminiscent of the initial Afterburner arcade game, ideal for those seeking that classic thrill. The competition mode challenges players to destroy as many enemies as possible quickly, prioritizing fast target acquisition. The tutorial mode serves as a practice ground. A 5th mode, Expert, is also mentioned for advanced players, though details are scarce at this stage. Another significant feature highlighted is the ability to change viewpoints, playing from either outside or inside the cockpit. Furthermore, a new dynamic cockpit system automatically adjusts the camera view when enemies approach from behind, a feature not seen in earlier series entries. Enemy attacks are described as particularly fierce, especially later in the game, with multiple missiles and even rear attacks using Vulcan cannons. However, the game equips the cockpit with a short-range radar, a convenient addition allowing players to see the position and number of nearby enemies, although pausing to check it during intense combat might be difficult. Screenshots show the mode selection, options, input test, name entry, internal cockpit view, external views, and incoming missiles. This page continues the deep dive into Afterburner 2i, focusing on its high-octane gameplay and mechanics. It emphasizes the arcade approach, highlighting that unlike realistic combat simulators, the game prioritizes action over complex procedures like deploying chaff or flares. The core evasion technique involves tilting the aircraft and performing rapid rolls, particularly useful for dodging incoming missiles. The main armaments, the Vulcan cannon and missiles, are detailed, noting that in Afterburner 2i, both feature unlimited ammunition, allowing players to focus purely on shooting down enemies without worrying about running out. The Afterburner is also discussed. While not a weapon, it's essential for quick bursts of speed to outmaneuver opponents, especially those on your tail. A distinct feature for this Mega CD release is the opening narration, provided by Mr. Shin Aomori. His voice, described as similar to a TV news announcer, is said to add significant tension and atmosphere to the game's introduction, leveraging the CD format's capabilities. The page features screenshots illustrating different views and actions, like tilting up, down, or rolling left and right. This page dives into Burai, The Legend of the 8 Balls Heroes, a story-focused RPG, making its debut on the Mega CD. Originally a PC title that saw ports to various platforms, this version is highlighted for its grand narrative and unique cast. The story unfolds on planet Cyprus, where the rise of the dark deity Dagiel and Emperor Bidor threatens the fragile peace, forcing the gathering of the legendary 8 Balls heroes to oppose them, drawing inspiration from the classic Japanese tale Nanso Satomi Hakkenden. A major feature emphasized for the Mega CD release is the enhanced animation sequences. While the PC version was known for its substantial animation, this iteration includes character voice acting, adding significant depth that wasn't possible before. The page showcases various animation stills, hinting at the visual style.
The heart of the game lies with the diverse group of heroes. The character designs, crafted by the acclaimed artists Shingo Araki and Michi Himeno, known for works like Saint Seiya, promise a memorable cast. The page introduces all 8 protagonists, including the hot-blooded swordsman Zan Hayate, the precognitive fighter Mai Plot, the animal-communicating healer Kukurotam, the immortal deity Gen Sakyo, the strong yet timid Gonza Plot, the eccentric noble Romarl Sebastian V2, the powerful magician Alec Heston, and the skilled needle user Lillian Lancelot. This page clearly sets the stage for an epic, character-driven adventure.
Burai. The Legend of the 8 Balls Heroes for the Mega CD enhanced its RPG narrative with unique systems. Boss battles require specific story triggers, and special abilities easily defeat weaker enemies, even without weapons. The game protects characters from death against weak foes and allows battle retreats. The field screen features a top-down view with jewel icons representing HP, attack, and special abilities. A detailed status screen includes training progress graphs. Towns offer streamlined shopping and healing.
The menu lets you manage items, party formation, and, crucially, train abilities. The action selection option allows you to directly strengthen skills, differing from traditional combat-based leveling. Combat uses a command selection system, emphasizing special abilities and strategic rear attacks. This page features Detonator Organ for the Sega CD, an adventure game based on the popular OVA series, set for a July release and confirmed 100% complete. The article expresses excitement for this title, especially for fans of the OVA and the ADV genre, highlighting the key question: will the anime and voice acting deliver? The report confirms that the game lives up to expectations. As a digital comic, Detonator Organ features extensive voice acting throughout, with the main character, Organ, talking a lot. The game structure interweaves conversation, battle, and visual scenes. Important story moments are presented as fully animated visual sequences, praised for their skillful direction that enhances the experience without interrupting gameplay flow. Even conversation and battle scenes include movement and speech. Screenshots show character interactions with dialogue, such as Mari speaking to Shindo, and dynamic battle moments like Aid attacking. The article concludes on a very positive note, suggesting this title secures the future of the Sega Creed's digital comic trend. This page dives into the world of Detonator Organ, showcasing the compelling characters and powerful mechs featured in the game. The main focus is on introducing the key players who drive the story. We see portraits of 5 main characters. Tomoru Shindo, 27, the protagonist who finds his purpose by piloting Organ. Michio Kamizaki, 26, an intelligent woman who works with Tomoru and acts as a technical advisor. Miyabi Akizuki, 22, Tomoru's close friend and a supportive figure. Yoko Mikura, 29, a skilled combatant serving in the Space Forces. Jefferson Kume, 9, a mysterious young girl with prophetic abilities. Below the characters, the page introduces the opposing force, the Invaders. It highlights their central figures and mechs. Supreme Ruler Meek, the unseen, powerful leader of the Invaders with terrifying precognitive abilities. General Zoa, the military commander of the Invaders and Meek's representative. Organ, the titular mech, an archetype who was originally an Invader defector, later reborn to be piloted by Tomoru. Rang, a commander under Organ's direct superior sent to Earth to reclaim Organ. Reef, an Invader scout seeking the truth behind Organ's defection. The page essentially serves as a visual and textual primer for the main cast and antagonist factions of Detonator Organ.
This page continues the look at Detonator Organ, focusing on the game's opening sequence and early gameplay. It kicks off with the dramatic opening, explaining how the rogue mech Organ, after defecting from the Invaders, is pursued and critically damaged,
eventually crashing onto one of Earth's satellites. The narrative then shifts to the protagonist, Tomoru, who in the late 23rd century encounters a mysterious white mech within a dream created by a system called Pasfer. This mech warns him of an impending crisis for Earth. The game starts within this Pasfer dream world, where Tomoru is programming the system's software. He finds himself in a mysterious underground labyrinth, tasked with rescuing a princess from enemies. While initially enjoying the Pasfer experience, another encounter with the white mech occurs, revealing that the pursuers from the opening sequence have transformed into monsters, adding a layer of real-world danger to the dream setting. This encounter underscores the critical turning point in Tomoru's destiny. The page also touches upon the combat system, highlighting that battles are fought by selecting commands from a menu. It emphasizes that success requires more than just attacking. Choosing the right strategy based on the enemy is crucial. Screenshots display the game's dungeon exploration interface, the dialogue system, and the command-based battle screen featuring the mysterious white mech. The page concludes by teasing Organ's appearance within the game itself. The next page continues, exploring the world of Detonator Organ, shifting focus to protagonist Tomoru's interactions and the growing mystery surrounding his life. It shows Tomoru meeting friends like Knock and Mahori in the seemingly normal setting of the city, contrasting with the digital world shown previously. This section highlights the game's social elements and the casual dialogue sequences. We see how a visit to Miyabi's information bureau leads Tomoru to discover a data disk, hinting at deeper secrets within the building's multi-level structure. The game also features video calls, which is a cool way to interact with characters like Mahori. As Tomoru explores Miyabi's office, the environment proves to be anything but ordinary, introducing elements like a mysterious figure named Isaac and an exploration of the underground parking. This page effectively blends everyday life with the escalating intrigue of the game's plot. There's also a brief mention of a contest offering signed art boards from the voice actors. This page announces Merry-Go-Round. The 4th unit series is coming to the Mega CD, ported from the acclaimed FM Towns version. The key takeaway here is the huge emphasis on the game's animation quality, specifically calling out the LOPAC system and saying, "Don't call LOPAC anime anymore," implying it goes beyond simple animation. The game boasts the DAPS system, promising impressive character movement, showcased by the animated strip of the protagonist, Bronwyn. The article explains that the 4th unit is a popular adventure series on PC platforms. It provides brief summaries of the first 5 games in the series: the 4th unit, the 4th unit 2, Dual Target, Zero, and Again. These summaries establish Bronwyn's story, centering around a mysterious plane crash, her survival, the revelation about bionic soldiers created via cloning, and the question of whether she is a clone or the original. The series involves conflicts with organizations like WWF and introduces a new one, Einheit. In the 5th game, Merry-Go-Round is presented as the 6th entry, concluding the first part of the story, the WWF arc, and beginning the second part, the Einheit arc. This game is also the one introducing the DAPS system to the series. For fans of the PC originals, or those looking for an ADV with high-quality animation on Mega CD, this looks like a title to watch out for. This page details the impressive DAPS, Data West Active Picture System, and the new VCS, Visual Conversation Software, genre being brought to the Mega CD by veteran PC developer DataWest. DAPS is highlighted as a revolutionary system enabling seamless, continuous playback of animation, dialogue, sound effects, and music, creating an experience closer to watching an anime. It even features a replay function for the entire game flow. The page illustrates DAPS with examples showing how selecting on-screen icons triggers character reactions, and how dialogue can be reflected in the environment, animating smoothly at 615 frames per second. VCS is introduced as a new genre where players engage in conversations with characters presented through images, drawing parallels to interactive movies and digital comics. Examples show character dialogue and a UI for interaction. DataWest is announced as a new participant in the MegaDrive lineup, recognized for their work on PC, including the popular Reizan Schuber shooting series. They are bringing their acclaimed The 4th Unit Adventure series to the Mega CD, leveraging DAPS. The page specifically mentions Wyatt, the 4th Unit 7, noting its advanced DAPS features and a massive 40,000 animation frames, indicating that more DAPS-powered titles from DataWest are expected on the platform. The enthusiasm for these new systems and DataWest's arrival is clear. This page delves into the Sega CD release of Dynamics' adventure game, Rise of the Dragon. It highlights that the game, originally a PC title controlled with a mouse, translates well to the Mega CD controller, feeling natural and comfortable to play. The article explains that while it's an adventure game, it incorporates action elements because the protagonist, Blade, is a private detective investigating a murder case. The focus here is on exploring Blade's apartment, described as small but requiring thorough investigation. The page details how to interact with the environment. Moving a cursor with the directional pad, using the B button to examine objects and hear Blade's commentary, and the C button to pick things up or use items. Key items like Blade's less than impressive synthetic leather coat and the crucial videophone, which serves as his primary means of communication and receiving job requests, are showcased with screenshots. The article also outlines the layout of Blade's immediate surroundings. His room connects to the bathroom, the elevator hall for exiting the building, and a corridor under construction. The importance of understanding these connections for navigating the game is emphasized. Overall, the page serves as an introduction to the game's setting, mechanics, and the essential tools Blade will use in his investigation. This page continues the guide for Rise of the Dragon on Mega CD, focusing on the crucial step of preparing Blade for the outside world. It highlights that Blade begins in his apartment wearing only underwear, humorously noting that a detective won't get far dressed like that. The guide shows how to pick up his clothes, a shirt, and his signature coat, and then use the inventory screen to dress him. The inventory screen, accessed by pressing the A button, is presented as vital, allowing players to check Blade's status and items, as well as save and load the game. Once Blade is properly dressed, the page transitions to leaving the apartment via the elevator hall. Players are faced with a choice: go up to the roof or down to the exit, which leads to the subway station. The article then briefly shows the city map, explaining that simply wandering won't solve anything, and emphasizes the need to devise an investigation plan after stepping out into the sprawling city. This page dives into Thunderstorm FX, a highly anticipated release for the Mega CD. The headlines announce that screenshots for the Mega CD version are finally being revealed, confirming the title has been officially decided as Thunderstorm FX by Wolf Team. The article notes that adding FX suggests the game will upgrade the fun of the original Laserdisc version while retaining its core appeal, leveraging the Mega CD's capabilities. The page features several screenshots showcasing the game's visuals, including cockpit views, combat scenarios, and environmental details like caves. The text highlights the smooth, non-choppy animation, claiming the scenery flows like watching a video, even in challenging environments. It mentions intense moments, like rapidly approaching enemy helicopters, and the beauty of the non-stop animation, which updates rapidly. Thunderstorm FX is scheduled for a July 10th release, priced yet to be determined, and supports single-player gameplay. The excitement is palpable, with the article urging players to judge the results by the presented images and look forward to the game. This page continues the look at the upcoming Mega CD title, Thunderstorm FX, also referred to here as Cool Tank Assault Guy. The article highlights that the screenshots shown are indeed from the Mega CD version, asserting they are a clear improvement over the original Laserdisc release with their vibrant colors, a testament to Wolf Team's renowned visual capabilities. The non-stop animation is emphasized, running at 6 frames per second for an impressive 25 minutes, reacting dynamically to player actions, which the author finds exciting and staggering considering the data involved. The page showcases the diverse environments players will traverse in the LX-3FX helicopter, including intense tank battles in the desert, naval warfare against battleships on the ocean, flying over beautiful ancient ruins reminiscent of the Roman era, soaring through majestic mountain ranges, and navigating treacherous canyons with poor visibility. Each location promises unique challenges and stunning visuals. A notable feature highlighted is the inclusion of binaural sound. Explained in a dedicated section, this recording method uses microphones placed on a dummy head to capture sound spatially, providing a realistic, immersive 3D audio experience when heard through headphones. The article confirms that Thunderstorm FX will utilize this technology to enhance the player's sense of being truly present in the game world, such as recreating the atmosphere of a concert hall, or, in this case, the intense battlefield. This page introduces the Mega CD version of Prince of Persia, boldly proclaiming it the definitive edition and the pinnacle of real action. The article emphasizes the super-real animation and authentic movement, highlighting that the character animations were created using actual human motion capture, a groundbreaking technique at the time. It describes the game as an action-adventure, where players must navigate complex dungeon-like maps, facing enemies like guards and skeletons using only a sword. The core combat is simple but designed to capture the essence of sword fighting, requiring players to gauge distance and strike decisively. A critical element is the strict 60-minute time limit to rescue the princess, adding intense pressure to the platforming and combat challenges. Screenshots showcase the prince's dynamic movements, encounters with foes, and navigation of the perilous environment, reinforcing the game's focus on realistic animation and challenging gameplay. This page continues the coverage of Prince of Persia on the Mega CD, focusing intensely on the game's groundbreaking animation. It highlights that the character movements, numbering over 20 different types including running, climbing, jumping, and even drinking potions, are incredibly realistic, a feat made possible by the Mega CD's large capacity and the immense effort of the developers. The article expresses great anticipation for finally getting to play the game due to this impressive detail. Beyond the realistic animation, the page also details the game's challenging traps, such as guillotines, floor spikes, and pitfalls, emphasizing that mastering their patterns is crucial for survival. A comic strip on the right provides a humorous take on the characters' distinctively fluid movements. Finally, the game structure is revealed. There are a total of 12 stages, confirmed to have the same basic layout as the earlier PC-98 and PC Engine versions. While a full map guide will follow, the page hints at the game's high difficulty and briefly shows some varied environments, including tropical-looking areas and dungeons filled with dangerous traps and enemies, reminding players to be cautious but noting that potions are available to help. This page dives deeper into the Mega CD title, Wonder Dog. Development is apparently progressing smoothly, and this month introduces brand new stages following the hero, Wonder Dog, known as Joey, as he chases the defeated evil army into space. The first stop on this cosmic pursuit is the Moon Surface stage. The article highlights the shift from Earth-based levels to a unique space environment. On the Moon, the reduced gravity significantly impacts gameplay, giving Wonder Dog a floaty, slow-motion movement quality that the reviewer seems to find quite enjoyable. Beyond the altered physics, the page also showcases some of the wacky and crazy enemies encountered in these new areas, noting that they manage to be both cute and wild. The screenshots reveal a bizarre landscape that looks somewhat like giant Swiss cheese formations, adding to the game's distinctive, somewhat surreal aesthetic. This page kicks off a detailed walkthrough of the first stage in the Mega CD game, Wonder Dog. While primarily a side-scroller, the guide emphasizes that the game features significant vertical exploration, encouraging players to climb trees and discover what awaits above. The first stage map is laid out, showcasing the path from start to near the goal, highlighting key obstacles and mechanics. The article points out Wonder Dog's special abilities, such as using his star throw attack to break through obstructing blocks, and his unique skill of digging through specific areas of the ground, marked by a slightly different color. These digging spots allow for faster progress, but come with a warning about newly appearing enemies. The guide also highlights the presence of a mid-stage gate, a helpful restart point for players, but immediately follows with a cautionary note about spikes located right after the gate, suggesting a tricky section lies ahead. Screenshots illustrate these points, showing Wonder Dog interacting with the environment, breaking blocks, digging, and navigating past the mid-gate and spikes. The page concludes by teasing further coverage of new stages in the upcoming issue. This page is a comic strip installment titled, Let's Go, Wonder Dog, and is the third episode focusing on rescue. It depicts Billy and Diana, previously mentioned as kidnapped by mysterious aliens, expressing their fear and surprise. The bean-like aliens are shown finishing their task when suddenly interrupted. The hero, Wonder Dog, bursts onto the scene declaring himself the hero of space, ready to stop the villains. The aliens attempt to intimidate him, but Wonder Dog retaliates with his signature star throw punch. In the final panel, Billy and Diana react with surprise, recognizing Wonder Dog and questioning if he could be Joey, hinting at the hero's true identity. The bottom text previews the next issue, revealing that Joey awakens as Wonder Dog, leading into the final episode, focused on their separation. This comic directly relates to the storyline of the Mega CD game Wonder Dog, showing key characters and abilities. This page dives into the highly anticipated Sega Mega CD Formation RPG Dark Wizard. The article highlights the game's appearance at a recent toy show, generating significant excitement. Development is progressing rapidly, with the system finalized. One major draw is the character growth system,
offering detailed class changes like a warrior evolving into a paladin, or a dragon puppeteer becoming a mighty fire dragon. This depth is praised as being potentially even more enjoyable than wizardry. Characters possess light, dark, or neutral attributes, influencing gameplay balance. Strategically, the game features 23 detailed maps on its world map. Players must recapture enemy strongholds to advance, adding significant strategic depth, especially concerning defending previously captured castles. The battle screen employs a grid system reminiscent of Fire Emblems, where units also undergo class changes. A key feature is the 4 playable Holy Kings: Melia, Kasha, Eric 9, and Shixan. Each leader offers a completely different scenario and ending, encouraging multiple playthroughs. Visual scenes support these unique storylines, enhancing the experience. The game blends tactical formation combat with traditional RPG elements like town exploration. The article concludes by promising a large feature in the next issue. This page focuses on the upcoming Sega CD shoot-'em-up, Denjin Aleste, known internationally as Robo Aleste. Development is at 50% completion, with a release targeted for late September. The article highlights the dedication of the developers and builds anticipation for the game. Visuals are a key focus, showcasing scenes from the game's intermediate demo. This demo, shown after clearing Stage 4, depicts the main antagonist, Astaroth, relaxing in a grand bath. A subordinate reports to him about Denjin's progress. Astaroth is hinted at being the final boss. The page includes character portraits and gameplay screenshots, revealing different environments like a grassy field, a village viewed from above, and a boss battle outside a castle gate featuring a mechanical enemy. The final image shows Astaroth's ominous castle, the ultimate goal. The author expresses excitement about the revealed content, particularly the unique intermediate demo scenes. This page dives into 2 very different upcoming titles for the Mega CD. First up is Capcom's Quiz Tonosama no Yabu, a quiz game port from the arcade with a strategic twist of conquering territory based on correct answers. The Mega CD version, currently 60% complete and slated for an August release, boasts significant upgrades, like full voice acting for questions and new modes, including a bonus game shown in a screenshot. Notably, the player character is immortal in this version, a welcome change from the arcade, and events are enhanced with anime-style touches. Below that, the page previews the RPG VE, around 20% complete for a December launch. This title is described as a unique blend of fantasy and cybernetic elements, featuring characters designed with tabletop RPGs in mind. The article introduces the main 5-person party through striking illustrations. We meet the protagonist Knight, High-Vulgar, driven by tragedy; Nina, a tomboy wizard with a wild personality; and Rance, a bard who transitions into a mercenary. The page expresses excitement for these distinctive characters and the game's intriguing world, encouraging readers to anticipate its release. This page features upcoming Mega CD titles from various developers. First up is Taito, with 2 arcade ports. Night Striker, their first CD release, is a fast-paced 3D shooter where you drive and fly through futuristic cityscapes, much like Space Harrier. Taito also brings the cooperative arcade beat-em-up Ninja Warriors to the system, promising the signature 2-player action, with hopes for improvements over the arcade version's display limitations. Micronet introduces 2 new games. Third World War is described as a real-time simulation game set in the near future, drawing parallels to strategy titles like the Caesar's Ambition series, though it's still in early stages. Their second title is Black Hole Assault, an action-packed sequel to Heavy Nova focusing on robot combat, aiming to refine the gameplay experience of its predecessor. The page also includes a general news section, highlighting more developments for the Mega CD. Sega's action game Switch, long shrouded in mystery, is finally showing more details, having recently appeared at a toy show. Additionally, new titles like Nostalgia 2, reportedly set on a hijacked plane, and Swirl Feed, a 3D shooter utilizing polygon and fractal graphics, are beginning development. This page features new software releases for the Game Gear handheld. First up is Super Dodgeball, adopting a command-based system reminiscent of games like Captain Tsubasa. The game centers on protagonist Danpei Dodge and his team aiming for victory in a dodgeball tournament, emphasizing strategy over quick reflexes. Screenshots show in-game action and menu displays. This title was scheduled for an August release. Also featured is Olympic Gold, Barcelona 92 from Us, Gold. This sports title is based on the 1992 Barcelona Olympics,
and the magazine highlights the impressive graphics quality as a key feature. It includes multiple events, such as the 100 meters race, shot put, archery, high jump, and swimming. Gameplay is described as similar to track and field, relying on timed button presses, and it supports two-player competitive play via link cable. The game was released on July 24th. A side column, the G.G hotline, briefly covers other Game Gear news, including delays for some titles and mention of upcoming games like Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This page focuses on cheat codes and tips for Sega Mega Drive games, featured in the BeepMD Cheat League Volume 27. First up is Elysia Dragoon, detailing cheats for stage select and an invincibility command. The method involves specific button sequences pressed during the initial startup screens, featuring the developer and publisher logos like GameArts and Gainax. Entering the code grants access to various effects via the 2P controller, such as restoring Elysia's HP, leveling up summons, boosting option monsters, and even a monster select button and lightning attack button. The lightning attack, once powered up by this code, is so potent it can defeat the final boss in a single hit. The page warns that these cheats make the game incredibly easy, potentially spoiling the experience. Screenshots show the game's startup logos and intense gameplay action. The second section covers Mystic Defender, providing a scenario select cheat. This code is activated during gameplay by interacting with certain obstacles and simultaneously pressing buttons on both the 1P and 2P controllers. Once enabled, players can use the 2P controller to jump between different chapters. An additional tip allows players to automatically win battles by entering fight sequences while holding A, B, and C on the 2P controller and using the directional pad. Screenshots showcase the main character and enemies within the game's environments. The page also includes a small side column mentioning additional tips for other games like Thunder Pro Wrestling Retsuden, covering things like getting unlimited continues. This page continues the BeepMD Cheat League with a focus on the strategy RPG Shining Force. It reveals several peculiar hidden items and encounters, alongside some powerful cheat codes. Featured tips include discovering odd, seemingly useless items like a moonstone and a Tepu gun early in the game, a Yuji after a certain companion joins, and a Kakuchan in the final dungeon, all of which have no apparent effect. More interestingly, the page details encounters with the recurring character Yogurt. One tip describes him running away quickly in Alterone Castle, while another has him running into a wall in Chapter 7 after following specific movements around the headquarters. The most significant tip is a method to select chapters and battles freely from the title screen by holding specific button combinations during startup and at the title screen. This allows players to jump to any battle from 1 to 30, or any chapter from 1 to 8, or even skip straight to the ending. However, using this trick comes with the risk of erasing all save data. Finally, there's a helpful trick to extend the effective range of the heal spell level 4 from adjacent allies to a range of 3 squares by briefly canceling and reconfirming the spell selection. This page offers a mix of bizarre secrets and practical game-breaking cheats for Shining Force fans. This page continues the BeepMD Cheat League, highlighting various game-breaking tricks for Japanese Mega Drive titles. For Magical Taruto-kun, a specific button sequence, ABCCBA, on the second controller during the startup voice unlocks a hidden map option in the menu, allowing players to select any stage. There's also a small sidebar tip mentioning item boxes in Stage 3 and a one-hit kill on a specific boss. In Deathbringer, holding up on the second controller and pressing start during gameplay activates a mode to warp to any location, including town and demo screens. Alternatively, pressing stack instead of start brings up an overhead map view showing points of interest like enemies, people, rooms, trees, and the player's location. The commentator notes how helpful this is for navigation. For Cosmic Fantasy Stories, players can disable random encounters by holding left and start on the second controller after powering on the console until the Sega logo disappears. Pressing start again disables the effect. Another trick involves pressing the C button and then start on the second controller to walk through obstacles freely. The page also details the prizes awarded for winning the cheat league, ranging from book vouchers to game software, depending on the rank of the submitted cheat. There's also a section providing instructions and the address for submitting your own tricks. This Difficult Games International Rescue Mission section provides solutions for players struggling with challenging Mega Drive games. In Eternal Legend, a player trapped in a dungeon needs help defeating a Cyclops. The answer directs the player to a map location to find a key item, ultimately allowing escape. Assault Suit Lanos, Target Earth. Players are helped with 2 gameplay tricks. The first to start with all weapons,
and the second to achieve infinite continues. Finally, Sunsoft answers a question about strange floating text in Forbidden City, which is likely a developer edition. The reviews praise the games for their quality and challenge. Players are encouraged to submit their own game problems for future help.
This page is part of the BeepMD Hot Menu Part 2, showcasing upcoming games. The main feature is Splatterhouse Part 2 from Namco, an action game released on August 4th. The headline declares that the horrifying nightmare is returning, indicating this is a direct sequel. The page includes a large illustration of the protagonist, Rick Taylor, wearing the iconic terror mask, battling monstrous creatures. Screenshots display the title screen, a scene featuring Rick's love interest Jennifer, and a gameplay shot from Stage 2 is showing English dialogue with Japanese subtitles. Another screenshot highlights the return to the infamous West Mansion. A key point discussed is the inclusion of easy-to-understand subtitles. The review notes that many recent games use a lot of English, making the meaning unclear. This game addresses that by displaying Japanese translations alongside the English text, making the story much more accessible and aiding players in understanding the context and dialogue. The text suggests reading the English first, then the Japanese translation to confirm the meaning. The overall tone is positive, highlighting the game's return and its helpful subtitle feature. This page dives deeper into the gameplay of Splatterhouse Part 2, highlighting the feel of the action and the game's structure. Rick Taylor, the protagonist in his terror mask, is described as having a heavy, solid build, which affects his movement and combat style. Basic attacks like punches and kicks send enemies flying, though speed isn't his strong suit. The page demonstrates key moves, including punching, kicking, jumping, and a sliding maneuver. Using items picked up in the environment is also a crucial part of combat. The game is structured across 8 distinct stages, with some of these stages being further divided into 2 or 3 parts. The core action centers around the ruins of the West Mansion from the previous game, and a new mansion connected to it. As expected, powerful bosses are waiting at the end of each stage, like the terrifying giant floating head shown here. The manufacturer's comment confirms Rick is skilled at dealing with the monstrous foes encountered. This page focuses on the Sega Mega Drive port of Speedball 2, a futuristic, violent sports game. Having introduced the game previously, this article dives into the practical aspects of winning, emphasizing that the key to victory lies in effective management. The page breaks down the crucial management modes: the manager, gym, and transfer sections. In the manager mode, you analyze data like upcoming opponents' abilities, past match results, and league standings to devise your strategy. The gym mode allows you to spend money to upgrade player stats such as stamina, speed, and tackling power. You can focus upgrades on specific positions or improve the team overall. Finally, the transfer market is where you can acquire skilled free agents to replace standard players or sell off current players, with star players being highlighted as having significantly higher starting stats. Mastering these management tools is essential for building a strong team and succeeding in the long league season. Screenshots for each mode show the interfaces for managing players and team progression. This guide details in-game techniques for Speedball 2. Brutal Deluxe on the Sega Mega Drive to improve match play. 7 key strategies are outlined: the pass and tackle attack to regain possession, zigzag running for dodging tackles, keeper caution to balance risk and reward, wall pass counterattack for quick passes, draw the enemy in for safer passing, score multiplier to boost points via wall bonuses, 1.5x or 2x, and easy goal with a penetrating shot to guarantee scores. Mastering these methods, presented with screenshots, is crucial for achieving victory. The game was released on June 19th, with a related event following on June 20th and 21st. This page is dedicated to providing strategic insights for the magical shooting game, Twinkletail. The main headline declares, "You can't win if you don't know the enemies," setting the stage for a guide focused on difficult foes. The feature highlights hated enemy number 1 across 3 categories: monsters, traps, and obstacles. The monster section details enemies found in Orloff and Elan castles that appear as statues before coming to life and attacking. They rotate, making them tricky targets, and the advice is to take them down quickly when they pause. The trap section focuses on annoying arrow traps within Orloff Castle, warning players not to rush through but to carefully observe the timing of the arrows to pass safely, often while dealing with accompanying slimes. Lastly, the obstacle section describes moving walls with faces that attack. While the faces can be destroyed, the wall itself is invincible, forcing players to navigate gaps
while attacking the vulnerable faces. The content emphasizes that these are just a few examples of the troublesome challenges in the game, and cautions players against underestimating any enemy. The game is noted as a magical shooting title scheduled for release on July 24th.
This document introduces the boss characters in the shoot-'em-up game, Twinkletail. Players must learn each boss's attack patterns to succeed. Stage 7 unlocks the final stage. Bosses include the Chimera, Stage 1 Talonplane, with diverse head attacks. The Ghost Knight, Stage 2 Orloff Castle, with punch and beam attacks. The Demonic Trent, Stage 3 Vine Great Valley, whose predictable attacks are still dangerous. The Giant Spider, Stage 4 Dora Castle, uses fire and webs. The Hydra, Stage 5 Reeled Cave, regenerates heads. The Powerful Demon, Stage 6 Elon Castle, with a magic barrier. And the Dragon Knight Duo, Stage 7 Zard Mountain Range. The developers, Wonder Amusement Studio, introduce themselves and hint at their next project. This page features Top Pro Golf for the Mega Drive, a game that brings the feeling of resort golf in a tropical setting. The game boasts beautiful visuals, starting each hole with a cinematic aerial flyover showing the course layout, giving players a nice view, even if not entirely strategic. Set on an 18-hole seaside course with blue skies, clear seas, and white sand beaches, this isn't just a leisurely round. The course is designed to be tricky, with strong winds and undulating greens presenting a real challenge. There are numerous difficult holes highlighted, including those requiring shots over the sea, and holes that hop between islands, demanding precision. The game offers different modes to play, including stroke play, the standard 18-hole format perfect for practicing and getting to know the course. There's also match play, a head-to-head competition where you can challenge another player, or the computer, with the ability to set the AI's skill level. With 15 top pros available, you can find the one that suits your style and take on the challenging course. This page delves deeper into the mechanics and modes of Top Pro Golf. It provides a step-by-step guide to the shot method, illustrated with screenshots. The process involves first selecting your club to determine distance, then adjusting the direction of your shot, next setting the spin you want to apply to the ball, and finally deciding the power of your swing using a rising meter. It notes that overpowering the shot can lead to errors, and emphasizes the importance of reading the green slope on the putting surface. Another section highlights the game's visuals, specifically mentioning the ability to view the course from the ball's location in 3D and rotate 360 degrees, enhancing the feeling of being on a real tropical course. Beyond the basic modes, the page introduces tournament play, where players compete over 18 holes, with the winner determined by the final score. Rankings are updated as holes are completed. It also describes handicap match play, a competitive mode where the winner of each hole can take one club, excluding the driver and putter, from their opponent, leading to a challenging survival game as clubs are gradually lost. The manufacturer adds a note at the bottom, calling the game a realistic simulation of golf's fun and difficulty, warning that it's hard to become a top pro instantly, but easy to get hooked once you start. This page focuses on the upcoming Mega CD port of LucasArts' graphic adventure, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. It introduces the game, noting its strong story emphasis, typical of the developer known for games like Monkey Island 2. The article highlights the game's detailed VGA graphics, mouse support, and icon-based interface, though points out the initial PC version reviewed is in English. Several screenshots showcase the game's varied locations and command interface. The reviewer is excited about the prospect of playing such a story-rich adventure game on the Mega CD, particularly praising the realistic graphics and character interactions. It's mentioned that Victor Musical Industries will be publishing the Mega CD version due to a co-production agreement with Lucasfilm, adding to the anticipation for its release. The page also features the Sega MegaDrive system, fitting the magazine's overall theme. This page features a look at new software and related content. The main highlight is Flight of the Intruder, a flight simulator previously only available in English, now released in a Japanese version for DOS/Versus. The article notes that while past flight simulators were challenging due to English manuals, this localized version improves accessibility. Screenshots show the cockpit view and radar display, which helps pilots locate enemies and obstacles. Also featured is Sega's puzzle construction tool for the MegaDrive, showcased through a fan-made Sonic the Hedgehog puzzle game, demonstrating the ability to create custom titles and gameplay. A magazine feature highlights Sierra Online's publication, Interaction, covering their adventure games like King's Quest V and Rise of the Dragon, along with international game news. The page concludes with a giveaway for the new Japanese version of Flight of the Intruder. This page delves into the history of TV games, presenting the fifth installment, which focuses on titles that emerged in the wake of the massive Space Invaders boom in 1978. The article discusses how this unprecedented success led many companies to attempt to replicate the formula, resulting in a rush of post-Invader games and a rapid saturation of the market. Highlighted is Sega's Head-On from 1978, a maze game featuring simple yet deep gameplay. Players navigate a car through a 5-lane maze, aiming to collect all the dots while avoiding head-on collisions with enemy cars. The difficulty ramps up significantly with each stage, increasing the number and speed of opponents. The reviewer praises the game's excellent balance and the intense pressure created by the constant threat of collision, noting that mastering the game requires developing unique strategies for each level. Screenshots showcase the game's maze layout across different stages. The article also mentions that while the game was available in different cabinet types, including a special dual cabinet, the core gameplay remained consistent despite changes in screen orientation. This page explores Universal's Galaxy Wars, a significant title released in 1979, immediately following the explosive success of Space Invaders. Regarded as a quintessential post-Invader game, it adopted a similar format, but introduced distinct gameplay mechanics. Drawing inspiration from games like Sega's '77 title Squadron, Galaxy Wars tasks players with launching rockets to destroy UFOs and asteroids. Unlike Space Invaders, where alien destruction relied on bullet count, here scoring was based on hitting specific contact points on the targets, adding a layer of strategy. Despite its seemingly simple concept, the game was noted for its high difficulty, challenging players to clear all 33 stages to see the final "give up" message. Progressing through stages revealed encouraging messages like "very good" and "wonderful," while increasing the number of obstacles and enemy bullets, fueling player determination. The game's program size was equivalent to Space Invaders. Technically, Galaxy Wars boards were designed to be compatible with existing Space Invaders cabinets. However, the advent of room writers made copying arcade games much easier, leading to widespread unauthorized duplication. Despite the game's popularity, Universal reportedly didn't profit significantly from it due to these copying issues. Similarly, Taito's subsequent release, Luna Rescue, also fell victim to widespread copying due to insufficient copy protection measures. Screenshots showcase the game's vertical gameplay, displaying scores, credits, and the title screen, alongside various colored enemies and obstacles. The large illustration adds visual flair to the page. This page explores Data East Corporation's 1979 arcade classic, Astro Fighter. While many encountered the game in monochrome, the color version was particularly striking for its era. It utilized a full graphics system with 8 colors per dot, running on hardware considered cutting edge at the time, featuring significantly more memory than concurrent titles like Space Invaders. The game featured a unique demo screen with an impressive animated title sequence. Astro Fighter offered strategic shooting gameplay, emphasizing anticipating diverse enemy formations and movements rather than just rapid firing, providing a deeper combat experience. The sound design, with distinctive effects, was praised for creating a 60s sci-fi movie atmosphere. The final boss battle was highlighted for its striking visual effect, featuring a beautiful, colorful aurora. Screenshots show the animated title screen and gameplay moments. This page breaks down the intense journey through Astro Fighter, detailing the challenges of each stage leading up to the final confrontation. Stage 1 introduces enemy formations resembling bowling pins, requiring focused, continuous fire to clear them before they consolidate. Stage 2 features enemies in linear patterns, with deceptive movements, demanding players anticipate their trajectories for successful hits. The difficulty ramps up in Stage 3, with elusive enemies visually similar to Star Wars fighters, notorious for their diagonal, hard-to-predict movements, often cited as the game's most challenging section. Stage 4 unleashes rapid waves of enemies attacking in vertical lines, a truly severe test of reflexes and accuracy before reaching the boss. The Fighting the Boss section highlights this epic battle, noting the unique sound effects and the difficulty in targeting the boss's weak point. It emphasizes the visually striking 7-color aurora that adds dramatic flair to the fight, and details the boss's direct attack patterns, along with the strategic benefit of energy replenishment during the second loop of the battle.
This page is the reader giveaway section from the July 1992 issue, loaded with prizes for BeepMD fans. The entry method required using the provided postcard, attaching a stamp, and sending in your details by the July 8th deadline, with results announced in the September issue. The standout prizes were the chance to win your choice of any Mega Drive or Game Gear software released up to the end of June 1992, including CD titles. This was a prime opportunity to pick up that one game you were missing. Also offered were t-shirts, a signed poster featuring artwork for Ale Road, and several phone cards. The phone cards included designs for the RPG Matu no Sumetsu, A Shining Force, one featuring characters from its manga adaptation, and even a card celebrating the Wonder Mega console itself. For racing and shooting fans, they were giving away a digest CD single for the highly anticipated Lightning Force IV. The information section touches on recent events like the Toy Show.
Noting the wealth of new MD titles displayed, it comments on the status of the Mega CD and reinforces the magazine's belief that software is the absolute core of the industry. They also announce that the next issue will be a special edition celebrating the magazine's 3rd anniversary. Additionally, contact details are provided for a question hotline, and a call is put out for aspiring writers and editors. This page features an important announcement regarding the Mega CD title, Mahou no Shujo Silky Lip. The developer, Riot, working under Telenet Japan, has decided to postpone the game's release date to June 19th. This delay is stated to allow for further content improvements, ensuring a better experience for players. The page includes an apologetic message and a striking black and white illustration of the main character, conveying their remorse for the inconvenience. The scheduled price for the game is listed at 7,400 yen. A user hotline number is also provided for fans to get the latest Riot information. This notice serves to inform anticipating fans about the schedule change, while promising a high-quality game upon its eventual release. This page features a prominent advertisement for the strategy game Caesar's Ambition, known as Caesar no Yabu in Japan, on the Mega Drive, published by Micronet. The page is dominated by a striking illustration of Gaius Julius Caesar, alongside a scene depicting Roman soldiers in battle near a ship. The content highlights key features of the game. It showcases the quarter view screen, which provides an isometric perspective of the map for a more realistic representation of the terrain and battle scenes. The variable window system allows players to customize the layout of on-screen windows for optimal viewing. Additionally, the game boasts a real-time battle mode, enabling 2 players to enjoy simultaneous battles via a split-screen display, with the left side for player 1 and the right for player 2. Screenshots on the left show the strategic map with units and structures, demonstrating the interface and visual style. The game is announced as currently on sale, priced at 8,800 yen, excluding tax. This page features a prominent introductory page for Ambition of Caesar II, Caesar no Yabu 2, a historical real-time war simulation from Micronet. It teases Caesar's return and a grand historical epic, highlighting the game's narrative premise. This page is the cover art for the highly anticipated Shoot 'em Up Thunder Force IV, developed by Technosoft. The prominent title is emblazoned across the center, set against a dramatic backdrop of crashing waves and stormy skies, featuring the game's distinct spacecraft designs. The tagline, "Breaking 2 Years of Silence," suggests the long-awaited return of the popular series. Key details on the page highlight the game's features, including a grand 2-part scenario, powerful items and a new weapon, a dynamic large screen with new free vertical scrolling, impressive multi-layer parallax scrolling effects, and high-quality sound with improved stereo sound effects for all stages. The page also lists the game's release date in Japan as July 24, 1992, and its price of 8,800 yens. This is a landmark title on the system, known for pushing the technical capabilities of the Mega Drive. The next page features the highly anticipated follow-up, Thunder Force IV. 2 years after the critically acclaimed Thunder Force 2i, this latest entry is reborn as an even more powerful shoot-'em-up, leveraging a massive 8 mega room. The page showcases stunning artwork of the player ship and a colossal enemy fortress against a dramatic sky. It highlights the leap in power and scale this sequel represents. Additional sections promote a limited edition 8cm CD single soundtrack digest related to the game,
announce recruitment for programmers at Technosoft, and display a photo of the company's new building completed in spring '93. This page serves as a major announcement and promotional piece for Thunder Force IV, building excitement for its release. This page features a spotlight on two distinct Game Gear titles, framed under the theme of cooperation or confrontation. On the left, we see Gyowanbura Jikochushinpa, a mahjong game based on the popular manga. It's presented as a great entry point for beginners, featuring a large cast of characters from the series, making it appealing to fans. The artwork and game screen snippets show character portraits and the familiar mahjong layout. On the right, the focus shifts to intense aerial combat with Aerial Assault. This Game Gear shooter is highlighted for its non-stop action, where players power up and battle endlessly across diverse environments like the sea, sky, and even space, culminating in challenging boss encounters. The imagery features sleek fighter jets and gameplay screenshots, demonstrating the fast-paced shooting action. Completing the page is a look at the Game Gear itself, showcasing its portability and the TV tuner accessory, emphasizing that you can game anytime, anywhere. The overall presentation highlights the variety of experiences available on the Game Gear platform, from strategic mahjong to high-octane shooters.